Hello, and welcome to another episode of playonultra podcast. This is episode 201. First episode of 2023.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
We made it. No apocalypse.
One more year. Fuck.
One more year.
Let's see how we are in December, I guess.
Yeah.
How are y'all, like, holidays, Decembers?
I will tell my horror story of flying in the holidays. So we in the United States had a bit of a cold snap on, I think it was the 22nd, I want to say. 22nd, 23rd, and we were set to fly down south to Florida with my wife's family on the morning of the 24th, morning of Christmas Eve. And we thought we'd be okay because the weather was calm again. Sadly, that was not the case. We arrived there, and our flight was canceled. There was no other new flight to where we were going till the Tuesday. So we said no thank you because we did not want to wait till Tuesday to go down to Florida, only to come back 2 days later. But that wasn't even the worst part. So our flight gets canceled. We're kind of sad about it. We had woken up at like 4 a.m. to catch this like 6 a.m. flight or 8 a.m. flight or whatever. And we were then told at 8 a.m. you will have to wait 4 hours for your checked luggage. No reason why. We're just told that. So we all kind of grumble and go down to the baggage circular whatever area, and we find a seat, and we putz around, and we wait, and there's a lot of baggage that come down the carousel, and none of it is ours. And at this point, the line for, like, the baggage claim, because lots of people had their flights canceled, the flight for the lines for, like, the baggage claims were, like, super, super long. But somebody from our flight managed to get up front, and they heard the news that apparently, despite the fact that they canceled our flight, some genius took all of our bags out of that flight, put it on a different plane, and that got sent to Florida. So then we decided to go home at that point because we couldn't do anything about it. And we had to be on hold for another 4 hours. It was 9 p.m. that night by the time we finally managed to reach someone to go, hey, we need our bag sent back to Michigan. And they did. And so Christmas Day morning, the next day, we drive down to the airport to get our bag. It all ended up working out. We just found like a hotel to stay in for a couple days.
Why are airlines so incompetent? I don't get it.
This in particular, what happened with, I didn't even get to Southwest. We use Delta, which normally works pretty well for us. But what happened was and we just didn't, it was just unlucky. Because of the horrible weather the past couple days, there were several flights canceled. And so they didn't have enough flight attendants to be on our flight. So they had to cancel it, which really sucks, but that's just how it goes. Southwest, however, had a different problem. Southwest is another common airline, especially I think in southern United States. And it turns out that they have a very archaic system of documenting flights. You know, it would be logical that you eat spreadsheets or even just, or, you know, if a flight attendant, you know, to say where they're at, you'd think there's like a check-in system, right? It's like, I know I'm supposed to be at this flight at 8 o'clock. I check in my badge and I got in at like 8:01 on this flight and I'm good to go. And if they can't be on that flight, you know, you'll know because they didn't check in, right? They're still at the other flight. Well, Southwest apparently doesn't have a system like that. They have an old system that just says, well, you should be here at 8 o'clock. Where are you? Now you have to call them. Instead of like an electronic system, it's just, you better be here.
Right.
And so the problem is, so they'd have thousands of flights canceled because of the super archaic tracking system because they just could not figure out who was going to be where on time as a result. So... yay, Southwest. Anyway, otherwise I had a good holiday.
Nice. What about you, four?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I had enough free time to actually play video games. I think I played more games in December than the rest of the year.
Yeah, I feel so too.
Nice.
Yeah. No drama stories. I guess it did flood a lot here because it's raining a lot in California, so like the highways were closed down and stuff.
Oh.
Like on New Year's.
Don't y'all like usually have drought?
We're technically still in a drought.
Oh. Huh.
Oh.
Interesting.
We've gone from what was it? Like we were in a state of like catastrophic drought, and I think now we're in a state of extreme drought. So it's improved a little bit.
Great. Yay.
We don't have a great way of recapturing rainwater.
Got it. Yeah.
It's also snowing, which is the big win, because then it'll slowly get released. But most of the rainwater kind of just runs back into the ocean. But it's not. I like the rain. I liked it. I mean, I can afford to like it because nothing fell on my house or got broken.
That's great. Yeah, nothing leaked.
Yes,
the rain's great as long as nothing leaks.
Yeah, I went to get like the first day because it's been like doing like 2 to 3 days of extreme rain and then like 4 days off and then on again like 3 times. And so the first day it was super rainy was New Year's Eve. And so I went out to get Chinese food because that's kind of like, I just do that every Christmas Eve. And I had to reroute a couple times because the roads were coned off because they were flooded. And even as I was driving over the non-flooded roads, like the parked cars, the water was like halfway up the tire. So it's like touching the car basically. And like even the Chinese restaurant had like water like leaking through their window. I'm like, okay. Like I had an improv show that night. And I'm like, well, I'm still going to go, but I'm not going to drive. I'm just going to take the train because it's going to be crazy out there right now.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
I had like 3 weeks off in December, so that was very nice. Very
wow.
Didn't talk to nobody, didn't do nothing, just it was so nice.
That sounds lovely.
Played lots of games. I guess I'll just say what like things I've played and watched.
Sure.
I'm watching Willow. It's the last episode
I really
this
want to
week.
watch it.
It's the last episode this
I didn't know
week.
it wasn't dropped all at once.
Oh yeah, it's like a weekly. It's Disney Plus.
Cool.
That's what they do usually, right?
On
That's
Amazon?
true, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
No, Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Oh, it's Disney.
Yeah, it's a
That's
Disney.
Odd. But cool.
Isn't Willow Disney? The
I
movie?
think you're right.
It should be.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure it is.
The original movie?
The original movie, yeah.
I'm sure they own it now if they're doing this, but I don't know that it was Disney when it launched.
Yeah, it was a long time. I never saw the original movie, but I know
I'm
people
a
who were.
huge fan of the original.
Got it.
I watched the movie not too long ago, actually, a couple years ago maybe, and the first episode was really good. Like the first episode of Willow, I feel like is really good, and it's one of those episodes that will make you want to watch more. But then it gets weird, not always in a good way. I find some of the editing is kind of weird. They use a lot of like modern pop songs. Sometimes it fits.
Oh, that's bad.
Sometimes it like in the scenes, and sometimes it fits. Sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the mood. I feel like I don't know. It's just kind of like weird editing, weird song choices.
Okay.
You know, the best way to do that is do it the way Westworld did it, where it's a modern pop song being played on devices of that period. Like when they paint it black on the player piano. Or in the second season, like they did Paint It Black again, but on like Japanese instruments.
Right.
And it just kind of
Yeah.
fits, and it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Basically, the
I was
songs
about
was
to
just
say.
was not in game in world.
I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
like it.
that's too bad because I know I also prefer it like I think of Stranger Things Stranger Things or even Bridgerton. Bridgerton had pop songs, but it was all like a violin quartet style because it's supposed to be
That's the
like
best.
exactly that was cool. Like obviously Bridgerton is all like fake royal
Sure.
not
And,
Victoria's
like,
like 1700s.
Isn't Stranger Things known for like isn't like
80s.
based in the 80s, right? So it's known for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actually popularizing some of the 80s songs.
Oh
And it
yeah,
fits.
for sure.
Because it's in
It
the
does.
80s. It fits.
Yeah,
This is
it does. They do
fantasy,
really well.
swords, wands, no speakers, nothing, and it's just suddenly modern pop song playing in the background. It just feels very weird, you know?
That's too bad. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either, unless it's like a modern movie.
Yeah,
But
if it's like
not my fantasy.
If it's like a modern like Marvel action movie or something, and then suddenly pop songs, they usually do that. I guess we're used to
that's
it. I'm
fine.
not sure why I'm okay with those kind of songs playing in like an action scene in a Marvel movie compared to like this fantasy.
I agree
don't
with
know.
you. See, what's too bad is like to me, what it speaks a little bit of laziness because what they used to do was they would commission a famous pop star to make a song for the movie. That was used to be how they would do that. So I know it's a TV show, so I guess they can't do that as easily. But it's just too bad because
Disney money, man.
I don't know. That's true, Disney money, right? But that's what I mean is like, because that's what usually happens. Like you have a fantasy movie, but I didn't actually see Aragon, but I just know the movie Aragon because someone gave me a soundtrack. But like Avril Lavigne did a song for Aragon, like.
And it
was fine.
Fits?
Right, and it fits, yeah, it's fine.
So it really feels like basically somebody who is in charge of like the music asked somebody like young or something, okay, so this scene, this is what happens, pick a song. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like, it just feels really weird. A couple of times it kind of fit the vibe and the mood of the scene.
Yeah, I mean,
most times
can
it doesn't.
Conceive of it working.
Yeah, I just feel like you can't do like pop radio for fantasy.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of a snob on music, so to me, I'm already like, oh man.
Because they definitely do wanna. It definitely feels like Willow is trying to be like a fun fantasy movie. Show.
I get that.
So it's like
the movie was definitely fun too, or trying to be,
and like. They try to be funny also, like even in the show.
Yeah.
So like so it's not like serious high fantasy Lord of the Rings.
That's fair.
But also I feel like they could have done better. Like that literally just feels like somebody choosing modern pop songs to cater to like younger audiences without knowing what the scene is about, or like just being told what the scene is about, you know?
It seems like they are trying to target younger audiences because the main characters are younger than
definitely
the movie was.
Yeah.
The movie was all adults.
And a baby. Baby's all grown up. Ooh, spoiler. And the adults are all really old now. Too bad there's no
20th Century Fox was the studio that did it.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense.
Too bad Val Kilmer can't talk no more, right? He has like throat cancer. Yeah. So
probably
it's, I don't know, the characterizations also, like sometimes you like the characters, sometimes I like the characters, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I find them annoying, sometimes they're like okay. And I feel like I'm not sure if it's inconsistent characterization. I think they're consistent-ish, but also it feels like it moves kind of fast, like their characters, but also it goes back. I don't know how to. It's just weird. Like it's just, I don't know. It just feels, and the editing also feels weird. Like sometimes like conversations, they have way too fast like snap editing, almost like a almost they're doing like action scenes with an old actor that can't really do any action scenes anymore.
Like a Marvel
But you're sitting down, but they're just talking. You know, it's just like it's weird. This is very jarring editing.
It sounds like a police procedural kind of.
Yes, and I don't know, and I don't know. I just feel like the characterization is also kind of inconsistent. I don't know. It's just like, and they're kind of annoying a lot of times. But the first episode was really good. I don't know, man. It's just
I don't know. I know it's from a book series. And I know it was. I kind of heard like it started. I think so. I thought it was
like, is the book series based off the movie or chained off of the movie?
No, I think the movie.
All of it comes from some literature. It's interesting you say that because as a child, my first exposure to Willow was the graphic novel adaptation of the movie, and I didn't know that. And like, oh, they made a movie off the comic book. And I watched the movie, I'm like, whoa, how'd they cast people who look exactly like the comic book? Because, I'm like 7 or 8, whatever it is. And they're like, oh, wait, no, this comic book's based off of the movie. Okay.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I think I'm wrong. Okay, the film came first. I just thought...
It's one of the rare ones where the movie is like the first thing, I guess.
It definitely seems like it's in this weird sweet spot of not being like super creatively original, but actually being unique. Like it's all organically good stuff, but it's like it's just generic tropey stuff.
The film was executive produced by George Lucas. That's all I need to know.
It's basically George
Everything
Lucas
makes
trying to
sense
make
now.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I get it. That's fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I get it. I get it. Is it? I still kind of want to watch it someday.
I don't think it's horrible.
I like it. I mean, I was on a podcast. I've done a huge rant about this multiple times in my life. I've basically forced people to watch it, and none of them have liked it as much as I have. But I really like it because I have very thick nostalgia glasses for it. But it is a fun movie.
I feel like I probably. I think I want to see it. I'll try to find it. But I probably would have liked it as a kid, based on just it. It feels like fantasy Star Wars. I probably
if you
would
like
have
the
liked
stuff
it.
from that period.
Yeah.
Like I loved Never-Ending Story, so it's like
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, all those kind of things. Yeah.
like
Is it helpful to watch the movie before the series? I mean, I probably would anyway. But I was just curious.
it's pretty much a direct sequel.
Okay, good to know.
It's pretty
That's
much
what
a
I
direct
figured.
sequel,
Just want to make sure.
A lot of the
I
same
wouldn't
actors
want
are playing
to,
the same
but-
characters and stuff.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
Except for Val Kilmer because I still think if you like Willow the movie, still watch it because it's a direct sequel and
I will. I intend.
definitely, but I don't know. It's just weird. Like it's just a very weird mishmash of like if it feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be, or it feels like somebody's. It feels like someone who doesn't. I'm not a filmmaker or anything. I feel like such an asshole for saying this, but it feels like somebody's got a very like surface level understanding of what people might want, and they just kind of threw everything together. It just feels like a weird mishmash, and things just
like a fan fiction level of writing, kind of.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I don't know. It's
Things
just
have to happen because they narratively have to happen, even if they make no sense.
it's
for them
not
to
just the
happen for
writing. It's
character.
like all the things I've said, like the production values and like the.
I see. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's just
It kind of
feels like
reminds me of The Wheel of Time, which I thought had similar issues, which is why I stopped watching.
I never watched it. I
too.
was thinking of it, but then I heard all the issues. I went, I'll pass.
I would not
I also
recommend it.
didn't read the books and stuff.
I didn't read the
I
books
read all
either,
the
so
books.
yeah.
Up to a
Somebody
point.
had to.
I mean, I did watch like a few episodes. I thought the premise was interesting. Like,
The world's cool.
yeah. But yeah, Willow's weird. It's just, but definitely watch it. I think if you like the movie, so Willow's weird. I also watched Violent Night.
Yeah.
Is that like
I watch it because of David Arbor, right?
Yeah,
Is it a Christmas horror? Is that the Christmas horror movie that came
It's
out?
not horror.
it's not horror. It's like
it's not?
action thriller.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair
Where
enough. I think I'm
Santa,
confused.
where
It's more
Santa
like a-
Claus is the.
It's more like a Tarantino movie.
Got it. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, that's overselling it. It's not that good. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's not that
fun.
good.
I
It's
enjoyed it a
okay.
lot.
Yes,
but it's
yeah,
not
I
like
get it.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
I get it.
But like you said, I watched it for Hellboy. What's his name? David.
Yeah, David Arbor. Yeah.
Yeah. Hellboy guy.
Is it David Harbor? I don't know.
Harbor.
Or is it Arbor like a tree? I don't know.
So yeah, he's good in it. He's the only character that's good in it. I feel like everybody else I hate it. So it's just, I also really love John Leguizamo, but it's just a weird character that he played in the
I
movie.
think I didn't actually look into this, but I think some of the creative people, either the writers or somebody, are the same writers for the Righteous Gemstones, because it's like the same setting of like rich mansion owned by rich family. In the Righteous Gemstones, they're called the Gemstones, so the Gemstone family, and in Violent Night they're called the Lightstone family. And the sister in Violent Night she's also one of the rich sisters in Righteous Gemstones. I think she's a writer, so I think there's some creative, mixing right there.
Same universe.
Maybe, but it'd be too.
Let's make it into a franchise or something. It's a violent Christmas movie. That's how I would put it. Like it still has
Are you trying to
it still got your Christmas like elements, like the songs and the all that.
Were
but
they trying to make
violence
another
with it.
Die Hard?
I feel it's very different. I feel like Die Hard is.
I'm just making fun of the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that everyone says Die Hard
It's
is
a
a
Christmas
Christmas
movie.
movie, and I was like, were they just trying to make Die Hard? That's all. That's all.
Die
I have
Hard
no
is like
idea.
an action movie based during Christmas, right?
Yeah.
This one is a Christmas action movie.
It's
Like,
big.
we just want to
It's
see
more Christmas, I
Santa
would say.
throw people into a wood chipper.
Oh man.
It's weird. I liked it. It's not amazing or anything.
liked
Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna change your life, but it's.
I might watch it again next Christmas, potentially. Probably not, but maybe.
I was about to say they're trying to make a new new traditional Christmas movie.
Instant classic. If I could
like-
get like a cutout of David Arbor Santa, I'd put it in my window on Christmas. I'd keep that around as a decoration for sure.
I also watch Only Murders in the Building.
Nice.
I don't know that one.
It's
Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez.
yes, thank you.
What?
Yep.
What is this?
It's a comedy.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a very good show, actually.
Yeah,
Alright, fair
basically, I've watched season 1. Hopefully, I'm gonna get into season 2 soon-ish, and I think they're making a season 3. But basically, the three of them lives in this like old-timey but like luxurious, expensive apartment in New York, and there's been a murder in the building, and they made a podcast about it because they love true crime podcasts.
Right.
Yeah, so the true crime podcast that they love is hosted by Tina Fey in the show. So yeah, I'm not sure if she's a writer or she's just like a guest star kind of thing. But it's funny. It's funny. It's I don't know. It's just a really good show overall. Like yeah, like seriously, watch it. Like
It's good.
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, anything with Steve Martin and Martin Short involved, like, I'm on board.
And I feel like the mysteries are pretty good too. Like the twists and
Nathan
turns.
Lane. Nathan Lane's in it too.
Which
He's
one is
great.
Oh.
who?
Oh wow.
He's the I don't remember how much is revealed. He's the father of the deaf guy. Have you met-
Oh, right.
yeah.
Oh, and I love that episode about the sun. That was a really good episode.
It's a good show. It's a good show.
Because so basically in season 1, there's an episode where it's pretty much spoiler if I say it, right?
I don't even remember. I don't remember, but probably
So you said that actor, the father of the deaf guy.
Nathan Lane.
Remember, there's an episode very heavily featuring the deaf guy. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember what happens in it.
It's not about what happens in it. It's more of how they presented the episode. Okay,
Oh, right. Where there's no audio in the episode, basically.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like,
So one
You hear what he hears. Because he's not like 100% deaf, but he's like
Yeah.
90% deaf.
So yeah, that episode was amazing. My favorite episode. So I watched that. Games, I played a little bit of High on Life, which is that Justin Roiland game, the Rick and Morty. So it's a very Rick and Morty-esque, very Rick and Morty humor type game. The guns. So basically, there's an alien invasion on Earth. You picked up a gun that has a mouth on it that can talk. Voiced by Justin Roiland, I think. It sounds like Morty. Does he voice Morty?
He does both of them, yeah.
Yeah. He does Rick too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the gun sounds exactly like Morty, like 100%. So
Well,
if you
he's arranged with 2 settings, I guess.
so if you like Rick and Morty and first person shooters, play it, I guess. I did not like it. I mean, it was okay. The humor was sometimes it was okay, and the action adventure parts are okay. It's just an okay game, but I didn't
Are any
really
of
bother.
the guns as fun as the Bane from Borderlands 2?
So it's they actually have like personalities.
Yeah, I
They
forget.
actually talk and stuff. Like, what does the Bane say in Borderlands?
Like, swapping weapons!
Yeah.
And I don't know what else. And it just screams when you fire it.
So yeah, so it's not like that. They like actually like, but I actually didn't play past getting a second weapon. It's just
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah, it wasn't that. I got a knife that had a mouth on it, so you basically go around collecting these. You can upgrade yourself, and it's not very. I feel like it's not very polished. It's okay. Like graphics wise
Wait.
too, it's kind of weird looking. Like it's very like the textures and stuff is not amazing. I mean, it's whatever, but like, if you like Rick and Morty, play it. If you don't play it. Like, so that's High on Life. I played. This one's really good. Metal Hellsinger. It's a first-person it's this rhythm first-person shooter with heavy metal songs. It's really fucking good. And it's like original metal songs that they made for the game, and they got like all these like they got Serge Tankian, the System of a Down lead singer, to collab on one of the songs. Yeah, and the songs are really good. There's like a combo thing where like a high score thing where if you reach the max high score, like it's not a high score, it's like a combo meter. If you max it out and it stays in that maxed out like range, the songs will have lyrics. Without them, it's just a song. So it's like really cool, and the gameplay is also really good. Basically on the screen you just see the reticle and the gun, right? It's with first person, but there's also like two arrows coming from the left and right screen. That is the rhythm kind of thing. So it reaches the middle, and then you have to like shoot following the rhythm. But it's actually easier if you don't look at it. For me, it's easier if I don't look at. I don't follow the arrows. I like use the sound to like really follow. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
So that's that, and just feels it's basically a Doom rhythm game. So like the character moves pretty fast. I'm pretty sure she also has like a double jump and like dashes. Like it's really a fast-paced game. Music's really good. And it's just really fun. Even like reloading, if you follow the rhythm, it gives you like, so it's just like, and like if you damage the enemy enough, you can do like a quick melee finisher, and that one follows the rhythm too. Like, so it's very like, so you have to think about where the enemies are, where their bullets are, where you're standing, and also the rhythm. So there's a lot of things to think about, but it's just really fun. It's just really well made. I've played another like rhythm first-person shooter. I can't remember the name, but this one is way better than the other one. So yeah, Metal Hellsinger is so good. I finished Plague's Tale Requiem. That's the sequel to Plague's Tale Innocence. Plague's Tale is
right.
the Black Plague rat's older sister, little brother. So it's really good. If you love the first one, the second was better, I think. There are levels where it's like quite open, where you can like explore quite a bit. And first one is like completely linear, just corridors. But yeah, the second one is just like the stealth is okay. Sometimes I feel like the stealth can be a bit like quite punishing. I don't know. It just feels like sometimes I feel like I don't have enough to stealth properly. I could be doing something wrong, but I feel like because you're given some sections, you're given like more than one way to like go through the level. I feel like some of them could have been better, and also like there are checkpoints in the level itself, and you choose a route and you die, you kind of go back to the checkpoint. So if you want to go back to try another route, it's a bit, I don't know. It just feels like,
interesting.
Yeah, so it just feels like, I don't know. I feel like the stuff could have been better. I definitely found myself doing, because when I stealth, I like to stealth. Like I don't like when they see me and then I run away. And then because there have been times where I reach like the final door of the level, and usually when you go through the door, they can't get you anymore. You have to focus on what's in front of you, right? They know I was there. I just opened the door. It just makes no sense. Like they know I'm behind the fucking door. It's just but it's still good. It's still a good game. Rats are disgusting as fuck. But I guess my favorite game, one of my favorite games of last year, actually, I'm still playing it. Still have not finished it, but it's called Unchained Echoes. It's a old school JRPG made by one person for like 7 years, and they just released it like a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
And it's getting a lot of good reviews, and I'm like, I'll try it out. And it's really good. It's basically old school turn-based JRPG. Very nice pixel graphics. Quite a lot of systems in it. One thing I really like about it is you're healed up fully, both your health points and your magic points or whatever. You're healed up fully after every battle, so you can actually focus on the battle and like having fun and using all the skills and stuff. So I really like that. But because of that, the battles can be quite challenging, especially like early on. Story is quite dark. like it's very colorful pixel graphics.
I mean, it's set during World War II, right?
It's
Or
set
one?
during. Oh no! Oh, you're thinking about a different game. I forgot about that one. Unchained Echoes. Chained Echoes.
Oh no, sorry.
Unchained Echoes.
Sorry. Yeah. No.
Wait, is it called Chained Echoes or Unchained Echoes?
It's set during a fictional war, right?
Yeah.
It's a war game.
Yeah. Chained Echoes is no. You're thinking of a different game.
Okay, the other one. The
Completely
same thing
different,
we're
yeah.
Talking about. Okay.
So Chained Echoes is fantasy. Like it's fantasy. The one you're thinking of is the animal ones. I can't remember the name right now. But Chained Echoes is fantasy. It's pretty dark. It has like a lot of politics and stuff, but also
Politics in video games.
politics. So like
It's never been done before.
so it's like really pretty pixel graphics, and then you see people hanging off the walls like with a noose. So it's pretty fucking, there's also like it's not really mechs. I guess it's mechs. So it's like giant armor thingies you can like pilot. It's mechs, basically. It's mechs. You can use them in battles. You can use them to traverse terrain. It's just a really good game. And then there's like you also have like a base that you can find more people at. And if you want to find more people, your base becomes bigger and gets better stuff. And so it's like it's very much a love letter to like games like Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. So if you love like really good old school turn-based RPGs, Chain Echoes is a must play, I would say. And one person making it for 7 years, and the game coming out is actually good. That's pretty amazing. The game that you're thinking of for is Fuga Melodies of Steel. So that one I also played last month. It's anthropomorphic animals. You play as kids during basically what is World War II-ish. Because
I don't think you ever mentioned to me that they were anthropomorphic animal children.
okay, the anthropomorphic animal children. Basically during World War II, the bad guys are called Burman. They're dogs. They're German shepherds, and they're Burmans. They look like Nazis, pretty much literal Nazis. They hate cats, I guess. So, it's pretty dark because your kids can die for real, like permanent death. And
Jeez.
you get like this special tank, and the tank has like the special cannon that can use up a kid's life to shoot a fucking giant ass beam to destroy everything in front of it. So yeah. So that's a game. It's pretty good. It got a little bit repetitive towards like the middle and the end. But it's pretty good. I got like the normal ending. So there's 3 endings. The bad ending is really difficult to get actually. The bad ending is you have to have one kid alive right at the end. And all
The bad ending is one kid.
yeah, only one kid alive. And to do that, you kind of got to plan it out because you got to use the
You gotta.
yeah.
You're
And
just
it's-
wasting
Mass
the
Effect
big
suicide
laser.
mentioned.
Yeah, because the less kids you have, the harder the battles will be. So,
Sure.
so you really got to plan it out. Normal ending is you reach the end with all kids, and then you have to use the kid to like sacrifice the kid or something. And then the good ending, I believe all of them survive. But to do the good ending, you have to do something else. Like there's like some relationship stuff you have to do. Yes, there's relationship stuff you have to do.
It kind of reminds me of like I liked the way Chrono Trigger had multiple endings where it wasn't like there wasn't strictly like the good ending and the bad ending. It was kind of like a bunch of different elements, and then like you could get like different combinations of endings. So like if you didn't do this sort of thing, then like your mom runs to the time portal at the end and the portal closes. But like my friend, he had rammed the time machine into the boss's shell to like break the shell, which also damages the time machine. So he's like, my mom's back in time and she's trapped there. But I hadn't done that, so I still had the time machine. So like that's not a bad ending to me because I can just go get her anytime I want. So it's kind of interesting having like these events that happen, but they each kind of affect the implications of each other.
So yeah, I'm not sure if Chained Echoes is gonna have multiple endings or not. I hope not. So just, yeah. Out of everything I said, Chained Echoes is the best thing. It's so good. They also have like fast forward battles and stuff. You can actually change it. So like really love it. Yeah, I did. I actually played quite a lot last month. I did have like 3 weeks off, so I played and watched quite a bit.
Yeah, so it seems.
Did y'all do anything?
I only had a week off, so I didn't really do very much at all, unfortunately. There was an anime. It was like a 4-episode anime my wife and I watched. It was called... What was it called? We thought it'd be a Vampire Yuri anime, but it was just sad.
Oh.
What was it called? I'll have to...
Is it 4 episodes right now, or it's just 4 episodes?
Oh, that's all it is. Like, it's... Yeah.
It's an interesting number.
Yeah, what are you? Hold on. Vampire in the Garden. It's basically about vampires and humans, and a vampire and a human girl trying to like find the paradise supposedly where they can coexist, but of course nothing is that easy. And there's also definitely like a sort of reincarnation aspect to it. And so we thought it might end happy, but it does not. One of them dies.
So apparently there's 5 episodes, and does it
5
actually
episodes.
end? Like end?
It ends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's the end. Yeah, it's only 5 episodes.
How sad is it?
I will... Yeah, but it's not bad otherwise. It's actually... What I kind of like about it is it's probably one of the few vampire-human stories I've seen where I do think you could argue that both sides are equal footing in some ways, like equally misunderstand and kill each other. Because usually, like, the reason I never take those vampires can be good seriously is because it's like, no, you just eat humans. What are you talking about? But I argue that they have made it a way where the humans have a bit of a leg up on the vampires. Like, they make this whole city of light so that the vampires can't attack them easily and things like that. They also do an interesting thing where humans took away all their art and culture. Ooh. So most humans like don't listen to music or look at paintings. And so part of the story is actually for the human girl to like realize she enjoys singing because she's never really heard music before. Because music and culture is like seen as a vampire thing, so that was kind of interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, like it's a little bit more of a okay. I could see how these two societies could actually clash, as opposed to just vampires overtaking humans. So I will say for that kind of practice, not a bad job.
It does feel like they put some effort into like the world building almost.
A little bit, yeah. There kind of is. It's not, like I said, it's not perfect, but I was kind of like, okay, this world is really sad, but I get it. I will say, unfortunately, like it ends very sad. The twist you kind of see coming, and there's just no real, like, it's weird because they kind of try to tag a happy ending by like basically saying that the human girl like does find a place to live out her life. Sorry, spoiler alert. But either way. That was that, and so it's meant to be very much a, oh, my heart, is hurting for these two people kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, otherwise the fight scenes are really well done. Definitely a lot of like kind of aching stuff. So if you're looking for like an interesting vampire, human kind of conflict with some war ugliness, it's not a bad one. But yeah,
and it's only 5 episodes, so.
It's only 5 episodes. Pretty short.
Is it like a 30-minute episode or an hour episode?
Yes. I think they were like 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
If I recall. We watched it in one night.
Okay.
So, yeah, it wasn't too hard to get through it all. So, yeah, definitely not bad. Otherwise, I don't think we really...
Did y'all get your Stadia refund yet?
I don't know if we have. I think they forgot about it. I'll have to bug them
Because
about it.
they're like it's coming soon, like the server closing. Yeah.
All right, I'll
Did you
remind
try
them
the
before
new Final Fantasy 14 patch with the farming?
So that farming was in the last patch. They just added more since then. So I've done I did that part, but they just added more stuff to it.
Is it like
it's
a comprehensive?
Very simple.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty simple. It's a very linear progression of like putting this kind of farm together, very Animal Crossing-esque, but like way more like linear. But you can catch some cute animals to have in your pen. You can grow crops in a very certain area. The main fun thing about it is you can have your minions. You can get minions that like follow you in the game. Usually they're either like wind up puppet like of characters in the game, or they're things like a cute little dog. You can have a bunch of them just run around your sanctuary, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's pretty linear. It's nothing it's you do it for a couple of weeks. It does have a pretty robust like economic selling system. You can make items that then you like sell on the market basically, and so there's like spreadsheets people have made. Right. Yeah, it's pretty intense. But like otherwise, I haven't gone back since the new patch, but new patch was a lot of new content. I actually had taken quite a bit of a break from 14. I just was feeling kind of burnt out, which is very normal. It's pretty typical that you're going to get burnt out and then come back in. So I'll be coming back in this weekend and finishing MSQ and stuff like that, and just trying to get my new glams up, my new outfits, basically. But yeah, otherwise, it is what it is. People have complained that this Island Sanctuary is too linear, so I'm curious if they're going to do some changes in the future, but we'll see. Otherwise, my life has just been full of tabletop games like D&D, which I'll get into in the news. But trying to think of anything. We're still watching I've talked about Witch from Mercury, the new Gundam show, right?
I saw somebody shared like a picture. And it's very like, I don't know, it's intriguing. That picture alone makes me want to watch it.
I think you
have
like
no
it.
context, no idea what the fuck is happening.
Yeah,
I don't even know if the subtitles are actually from the thing. But basically, it's like two female characters. One is like on the ground, like kind of bloodied. Another one is like standing up. I think a red hair one is standing up, pointing a gun and like talking about how...
Oh, that sounds like spoilers. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
I didn't see the last episode because my wife sometimes needs to be encouraged to watch shows. It is on Crunchyroll. I think. It's on Crunchyroll. Yeah, I know something big happened. I know last episode, but my wife wasn't. We didn't watch it last weekend, so we're gonna have to watch both episodes this Sunday. And I know something big happened. I've been trying to avoid spoilers. From what I've heard, if you like Gundam, it's very good. I've never been huge into Gundam. I will say I kind of got a little bit lost because I think there's just some typical Gundam jargon that I don't really understand. But if you like Gundam, it's a very Gundam feel. The reason I like it, I think I talked about this, is the beginning plot is just the beginning plot of Revolutionary Girl Utena, and it's really funny because it's by the same director. Who we affectionately like to call the guy that likes Yuri and thinks boy is bad. He's the guy that made Revolutionary Girl Utena and was also the one in charge of the first Sailor Moon, part of the first Sailor Moon, who infamously said that he hated Tuxedo Mask and wanted to pair Sailor Moon with Sailor Mars together, which is why the original show has a lot of weird tension between the two of them.
Is it very queer-coded kind of thing?
So far, I will say, so that's the reason I compare it with Revolutionary Girl Utena's. Utena was definitely a show that wanted to be Yuri, but couldn't quite get away with it. So it was a lot of coding.
Because it was mid-90s?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Amidst a lot of... And now, what's funny is if you watch the movie, it's just flat out Yuri. Like, literally, it ends with the two girls naked on top of each other. No joke.
Okay.
Yeah, but the show, they had to, even though like it's so obviously queer coded, and a lot about like fluid sexuality and stuff like that, they had to, like, you know, still be somewhat careful. So there's still like weird lines like saying, I can't date a boy, or I can't date a girl, and like stuff like that, even though they're like very affectionate stuff. This show, I would say, it feels like they're speaking more what they wanted to say. So there's no outright like, I like girls, but there's things like at one point, you know, part there they borrowed from Utena, so the two main girls, like, it's like they're engaged. But so I'll try to be really brief. Long story short, the beginning of the show is all, and this is exactly like Utena, is all about this like princess character and a bunch of other people who they can do Gundam battles over anything, these duels, but the main reason they duel is to basically be able to win the hand of this princess-like character. And the main female protagonist kind of accidentally wins, and so now she is currently engaged, and she has to kind of keep that position. Very literally what Utena was about. This princess character, another female character that gets drawn up in these duels and now has to try to keep her position as the Rose Bride's fiance. That's in Utena.
Honestly, it just sounds like something I would like. I should probably watch it.
Yeah, I think you would. But the
sounds pretty gay.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's pretty gay. Like they make it. Like, it's so far, it doesn't seem queer. It'll be queer baity if they end up not together, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't know if they're going to necessarily, like, kiss or say I love you, but, like, the one thing that made me go, is there's an episode that has to do with the princess's character and, like, an old friend that's a main character in the show, and he's very like manipulative and things like that, and they talk a lot about how he's trying to be by her side to basically help her out, but he does it through manipulation. And there's a scene that very clearly dictates that, like, in another time they could have maybe fallen in love and been together, but it's too late. He fucked up basically, and she pretty much is like, sorry, this, you know, no, like, I cannot return your feelings kind of thing. Not quite exactly like that, but it's very obviously like this idea of, you know, trying to be a hetero couple that's just not healthy. And obviously the Yuri couple or the lesbian couple is a healthier match kind of thing. So there's things like that. I haven't seen the latest episode, so we'll see. The episode I saw before that, there was a whole scene where the two female characters had like a misunderstanding and didn't seem to like each other, and then they made up and all that stuff. So it's pretty queer. It really feels like the show that I can't remember his name, but it sounds like it's a show that director's been wanting to make, I think, and he finally got an excuse with Gundam.
Nice.
Also, huge plus with this show, the character designs, A+. And when I say that, there's different body types.
So it's
like,
not like action figures where they just use the same.
No, there's legit. You probably haven't seen it because, I mean, unfortunately, like, no heavy set character is like the main character, but there are heavier set characters. There are all sorts of body types, and no, it's not called out. It just is.
Right.
You know, they obviously Japanese anime is not very good with multiple skin tones, but they do try to do multiple skin tones. You even seen the two main female characters; they're different skin tones. They try to have multiple skin tones and things like that, and it's one of the better ones I've seen with that. So, like, the character design, A fucking plus. So definitely I give it a try. The Gundam battles seem really cool. I couldn't tell you how good they are compared to other ones, but they're pretty entertaining.
Nice.
So yeah, highly recommend so far. I haven't seen the latest episode. I hear it's a doozy. Probably this next one's going to be a doozy too, so I'll be catching up this weekend.
What else?
I think for me, I'm trying to think. We still need to watch Andor. We just nobody seems to want to watch anything anymore.
Andor's really good. Andor's one of the.
I know. We watched the first episode.
Like
and
I
loved
said,
it.
the best Disney Plus show so far. Like
Yeah,
among the
no,
new
I believe
ones.
it. I think everyone in our house just doesn't want to concentrate on a serious show right now. I think that's all of it is. But I'm
assuming there's also some Disney Plus fatigue.
There's
some,
a
like,
little
Marvel,
bit, like,
Star Wars fatigue.
Yeah.
And it's really
There's a
sad
little
because
bit.
Andor is probably their best show.
I know. It's too bad they didn't push it right, you know, earlier on.
I mean, I get
you know?
it. I get why they had to do the more like popular character type.
Yeah,
I guess
they wanted to make sure it was going to work. I know, but it's like Solo, the movie Solo. By all accounts, a very good movie, but nobody watched it because of Disney Star Wars fatigue, because of where they decided to release it. Bad release pattern.
I don't think it's very good, but I do think it's
enough.
better than the trilogy.
Fair
The
enough.
new trilogy, right?
Yes, the trilogy
I think-
amongst which it came out.
Right.
I guess like for me, I liked it. It's not like my favorite Disney movie.
I mean,
but
I do think
Star Wars
people really give it a hard time. Like, to me, like, of the new 5 Star Wars, it's my second favorite one, right after Rogue One. So, like,
Yeah.
I do like it, and people don't like it, but it does have a lot of problems.
Yeah. But either way, but it's what can't be understated is that they definitely released it at a bad time. During a lot of, if you look at the release schedule of their Star Wars movies, Solo was like too soon. They really should have waited a bit longer, and they didn't for some reason. And
Maybe they thought the
never had a
name itself
chance.
would carry the movie, like Han Solo. Everybody
Maybe.
loves Han Solo.
Yeah, Disney's weird about some stuff like that. I mean, there was a there was a Pixar movie that I heard so little about that apparently is fucking amazing. It's the
Strange
three
World?
generation
Oh,
Strange World.
Strange World. Yeah,
Strange
It was
World.
okay.
I
Oh.
haven't seen it, but like apparently it's amazing.
Oh,
But there's
It's
so
pretty.
little out there. Yeah, no, I heard the story itself is like really good, but I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. That's what I
don't know.
heard.
but yeah,
Okay.
I just randomly saw like a trailer or something. I'm like, what is this? I just
Yeah, I
never heard
know.
of it at all.
There is
I've
some
seen
people
trailers
that
for
the one of the main characters of Strange World is a very obvious queer person of color. It's the grandson basically, and so there's some
It's
people that
explicit.
feel, yeah,
If you
and
meet
so there's
his
some
boyfriend.
people, yes, so there's some people that feel very much like Disney is just kind of letting these shows not work out and stuff like that. I
Right.
can't tell you,
Like,
Disney's
yeah,
weird.
no,
Interesting.
right. I get it.
So there's that. Owl House will be coming. A new movie episode is coming, I think, on the 20th. So put that down on your calendars.
didn't
I
know
am
about that.
fucking so excited. This show is driving me nuts.
Wait, what show? Sorry.
Owl House.
Owl
House.
House. Owl House.
Very.
Owl House.
If you haven't watched it, definitely do. It's really, really good. I don't think
mean,
I've talked
yeah,
about it
you'll
very
like
much.
it, Char, for sure.
Yeah.
So many
it's
stuff
a good
to
one.
watch. Jesus.
I know. Owl House is like.
I mean, it's
Okay,
one of the few
I never
good
watched-
cartoon shows that isn't getting canceled.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got a there's a 2-girl romance that's extremely explicit, and the characters are all very they're good. It's like it's got that like She-Ra Steven Universe kind of feel.
Okay.
100%. Even looks like it.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me like. I think I've pitched this before. I really like. I don't read a lot of fan fiction, but I read a very good Harry Potter fan fiction called Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. And the premise is, what if Harry Potter was raised by scientists before he got put into Hogwarts? And this kind of reminds me of
Oh.
that because the main character is not magical,
that's-
and she's in this magical universe. And she's trying to figure out how to do magic scientifically, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's really well done. I was also going to say, if you like Gravity Falls, it's not by that creator, although that creator voices
Okay.
in it, but like one of his.
Oh right.
Right. I've never actually watched Gravity Falls. I think I
Oh,
tried.
man.
I'm not sure. I don't remember if
I
I
had to
tried.
rewatch it. Yeah, I had to rewatch it. I watched it with my brother, then we kind of had stopped. We tried to watch it again, but then my wife lost interest, and then we finally said, "Nope, we're watching it," because I wanted to watch it. It's just things happen. It's no one's fault. And finally, we did. Excellent show. I have a little bit of a problem with the ending, personally, but that's
remember that
huge
ending
spoilers.
Gravity
so
Falls?
much.
Yeah, my main problem with the ending, without getting into too much spoilers, is that there's tons of lead up for like a specific thing, and they do it in the show, but it doesn't work. Is the whole thing, and I just don't like that trope very much. Where it's like there's all these clues that lead up, and so they very quickly are like figured it all out, which is fine, but then it doesn't work. So it was like, well, what was the point of all of the clues and all of the
Yeah.
episodes and things
I
like that?
do
That was
remember
my main
feeling
issue.
like the like the plot of Gravity Falls was not the part of it I liked. I really liked the kind of anthology elements. Where it's like, this episode we're gonna meet like this weird Manotaur. Like just the monster of the week
Yeah.
type stuff was my favorite part.
That's fair. I liked the relationship with the twins because it's really hard for me to find good
I forgot they were
brother-sister
twins.
relationships. Yeah, it's really. I have an older brother, and we're very close, and it's really hard to find decent brother-sister relationships in TV, and that probably is one of the best depictions I've ever seen of it. Of like, yep, that's what it's like. But yeah, it's a very good show. It's all
Why
very,
does it say it's comedy horror? Is it horror?
I don't think it's horror.
I mean,
Is
like
this weird
kid
tagging?
horror.
Oh, okay.
I guess I guess you'd be scared if you're like 10 or under, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's got some creepy parts, but it's nothing. It's not like a jump scare horror or anything like that. It's kind of like they fight kind of creepy monsters and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not quite the same as horror's
It's
kind
kind
of
of like,
weird.
I don't think you watched this either, so this is a useless comparison, but it's kind of like Star versus the Forces of Evil.
Yeah. That's a pretty good
Yeah, that's another one I
analogy.
didn't watch.
I didn't finish
Yeah,
that
that-
one, but it was good.
That one has a really disappointing ending, unfortunately.
Great.
Yeah, the couple gets together, so that's good.
Okay.
But the like resolution, I mean, the resolution comes a little out of nowhere, and you're like,
Sure.
is that really what the answer needs to be? I feel like it could have been good if they had led up to it better, but it was a bit of a, I think they weren't really sure what else to do, and a child makes a decision, and you're like, this seems a little extreme.
Okay.
So it's not, like I said, it does end happy, though. Like, there is a happy ending. It's just very, like, not sure if this is a good idea. But that's okay.
I just remember really liking Alan Tudyk's character a lot.
Yes.
That's always.
I forget, who does he play?
He's like the big bad of season 1 who becomes like
Oh!
not the big bad in season 2. He's like a friend. I don't know.
He's Oh, he's great. Yeah. He's good. He's great.
But
But yeah.
can you give me like 10 minutes? I'll cut this part. 10 minutes.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. I'm gonna get some water then. Yeah, I'm so excited for Owl House.
There was something I was excited for. I don't remember what it was. Oh. I actually, after seeing some pictures of the most recent Puss in Boots, I think I've seen none of the Puss in Boots. But this one looks cool enough, I might just go back and just watch my way through them all.
I've been hearing that the latest one is like really good.
The wolf bad guy just looks so
Yeah.
cool.
I know, yeah, I did see that. I saw like one of the main like fight scenes too, and it
Yeah.
looked really. I was like, whoa, okay. I know.
Yeah.
I never got into it. I never even saw anything past Shrek 2, so like I'm totally out of
think I
the
saw
zone
Shrek
with that
3.
series. I know some people did. We got the DVD when my mom used to just collect DVDs, so like we got the DVD, but we never watched it. It's I don't know. I love Shrek 2 a lot, and so for me it was like,
Yeah.
whatever.
One of my friends was complaining on Facebook that they were talking with like some interns they're working with, like, oh yeah, I love animated movies. I remember seeing Shrek so many times in theaters. And interns like, that movie came out before I was born. Just like, oh, like that's insane. It doesn't seem that long ago.
I know, but yeah, it was a long
Like
time
20
ago.
years.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Uh,
Gosh, it's so nuts. Yeah, I remember that movie. Definitely took the world by storm. Oh man.
Smash Mouth. It's probably so dated now.
Oh
I mean,
gosh,
it holds
yeah,
up
for sure.
for the most part. I don't know.
The humor probably holds up decently. It's pretty millennial humor, but I'm sure it has a little bit of staying power. If only
Yeah.
in what they call the cringe ironic way, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those jokes. I'm not saying like Shrek. I'm not saying Shrek made these jokes before anything else made these jokes, but it was one of the first movies I saw that was kind of like, it wasn't like fourth wall breaking, but like self-aware and irreverent, like of the genre kind of.
Yes.
Like trope breaking. Yeah, so that was kind of fun.
Because it was meant to kind of be, it was kind of meant to make fun of Disney with their, yeah, exactly. So, with that, and of course, it had some like it was not the first to do this, but it was one of the most popular of like adult humor in a kids show. So that was like a pretty big deal. So parents enjoyed it too. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. It was not the first, but it was probably one of their most successful. And what else was I? What was I gonna say? I think Shrek 2 still holds out, but I haven't seen it in a while, so maybe that's just nostalgia talking. It's just I just love the plot of it. It's so.
That's
ridiculous.
the one with the fairy godmother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she's great.
That I Need a Hero sequence is really good.
I know.
Like with
ridiculous.
the giant gingerbread man.
Yes.
Like, it's just cool. It's just actually
really
cool.
Puss in Boots is introduced in that one, and he's and literally it's just the guy who does Zorro. I don't think he voices him anymore.
It's Antonio Banderas, right? Okay.
Yeah,
anymore,
in that movie. I don't know if he does the other movies. I think they got somebody else, but he definitely is.
But I'm checking.
Yeah.
It's called Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And
yes,
it's Antonio
that's
Banderas in this one, and Selma Hayek as Kitty Softpaws.
Wow.
Oh, Florence Pugh as Goldilocks.
Aww.
John Mulaney as Jack Horner.
What?
This
movie sounds ridiculous.
Betsy
wacky.
Sodero. I love her. The character's name is Joe Serpent. Wow, yeah, okay. Maybe... I don't want this to go into my Google history, but I want to Google, can I watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish without having watched the previous Puss in Boots? I should just watch them. I don't know.
How many are there now?
The first one came out in 2011.
Okay, that's a while ago.
That doesn't answer your question.
How many since then?
There's a TV show called The Adventures of Puss in Boots.
Oh, that's right. There was a TV show.
I'm not gonna watch that. Puss in Boots.
Usually, you don't need to.
The film, is it just the two? Maybe Puss in Boots 2001 film. Yeah. Can I scroll down accolades? Oh, it's just the two. Okay.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I can do that. No sweat. Oh, yeah. Guillermo del Toro was the executive producer of the first one.
I didn't realize that. What?
I'm skimming this. Oh no, Guillermo del Toro was originally going to produce the sequel back in 2012. And I don't know if he still was. The original title was Puss in Boots 2: 9 Lives and 40 Thieves. It's a new movie that just came out called Spin Me Round. It's getting very bad reviews, but it stars Alison Brie and Aubrey Plaza. It looks fun.
Oh, I was going to say Alison Brie and Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, a woman wins an all-expenses-paid trip to a company's gorgeous institute outside of Florence, and also the chance to meet the restaurant chain's wealthy and charismatic owner. She finds a different adventure than the one she imagined. Well, that's not very descriptive, but... I mean, I'll start watching this. I guess I gotta brace myself for it to suck. Because like it's got like 47% critic rating and a 38% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh, that's not good.
I mean, they're both low.
What movie?
It's a movie that just came out called Spin Me Round, which I caught my eye because it stars Alison Brie and Aubrey Plaza.
Oh.
And also
Yeah.
like Fred Armisen shows up later in this credit list. Like it's got funny people involved, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
got real dumb bad reviews.
Oof. Yikes.
Okay.
It's a rom-com.
What did you do for?
I let's see, I should start with what I played, I guess. I played all of Inscription, which was great. I can't talk about it too much because I think part of the thing that makes it great is not really knowing anything about the game. But it starts off as like a deck building roguelike and then gets kind of meta, like surreal from there in an interesting way. You and I played through Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Tiny
That was
Tina!
good. It's good. It's good.
It's a good game.
I don't think I'm going to keep playing it.
Yeah, there's
Like,
not
I'm
much
gonna
end
do
game to
I'm not
it.
going to do much end game stuff. Yeah.
It's not much end game to begin with, so.
Yeah. I tried to play the Hex, which was because I liked the Inscription so much. It's a very short game though. I wanted to play the Hex, which is from the same creator
Right.
that they did before they did Inscription, and it was so boring.
Oh.
It's like a
Side-scrolling.
it's like a walking simulator,
Right.
but a side scroller. So it's just really, really boring. And they try to shoehorn in some gameplay elements. Like honestly, if it had purely been a walking simulator, it would have been kind of quirky and funny. But the game part was like just kind of like a momentum killer and not like polished enough to be fun. It's just like I just got to do this stupid little game to get to the next bit of the story. And I don't know. I don't know if I finished it. I got 2 endings, but I think there's more. But I already uninstalled it because I don't care that much.
Because it's also pretty meta, right?
It's very meta, yeah.
The
Like,
previous
you play
game
as-
also.
You play as a bunch of like video game characters, not literal named ones, but like, oh, you're clearly like a Halo type character or whatever. You play a bunch of video game characters in a bar, and so throughout the story you take over each of them to see like why they're there, like trying to hide from like the video game studio. There's some like the story arcs are good. Like I think the writing's pretty fun. Like you follow this guy from a fighting game who's like, I was originally in a cooking game. All I want to do is cook, and they forced me to fight. You know, that kind of thing. It's kind of cool.
Pony Island is the other one. The first one.
Oh, he did that.
He did Pony
Okay.
Island. Yeah.
Oh.
That's
That's
very
the one
high
I
on my
played.
list of games to play. Okay.
That's the one I played.
I played it.
Pony Island.
I played it for like 10 minutes in an art museum. They had like a video game as art exhibit. And so I
That's
was playing
interesting.
Pony Island. I'm like, this game is good. So I bought it, but I haven't
That's a-
actually played it yet.
That's a good example.
It's pretty damn
Yeah.
cheap too. Even at full price.
Yeah,
it's like $5.
$5 is, yeah.
Good soundtrack too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Valheim recently because they came out with the new expansion that adds a whole new zone. So
Paid
two of my
expansion?
different friend. No, not paid.
Oh.
Because the game's still early access. So it's just they're adding more
Oh,
content. still.
right.
So 2 of my different friend groups have created servers for it. So I've been kind of playing on both of those, letting them do most of the work because like. There's just,
You mean like the
there's a lot of
building and
work to do
stuff?
that's fun.
Oh, okay.
But like, no, I like doing the building. I like doing some of the stuff. But it's, like every step, there's a point where it's like, okay, to progress, we just have to mine an entire, so much metal. We have to exhaust a biome of metal, and it's just a lot of time work. And I don't,
Right.
I'll do a little bit of it, but like it's not fun for me.
Yeah.
I did it.
Hopefully they
the
come
first
up
time
with,
through.
like-
I don't want to do it again.
Hopefully they come up with like a creative mode or something. If you just want to build.
That would be interesting.
I'm guessing they don't have it now, right?
They definitely don't, and they because the game has
Server settings?
I'm sure it has server settings, but like the game has a lot of mechanics to kind of prevent like they keep things like realistic, right? Like in like Minecraft, you can like jump and place a thing below you, and you make like a tower infinitely high. And like Valheim has kind of like architecture, like simulation physics, so like you can't build like crazy structures because it's trying to keep things. It's definitely not trying to be super sandboxy.
Right.
I don't know, but it's a good game. And then the one other game I played, I think that's all I played. The one other game. Oh no, there's 2 games I played. One, I played Clid the Snail, which I've had for a while.
Oh.
It's a twin stick shooter. I like the graphics. I like the concept of a snail man. I already uninstalled it.
Oh.
Not because I don't think the game is bad. I think I just don't want to play a twin stick shooter right now because I was playing it, and then when I would die and get kicked back to the checkpoint, I just like I'm not having fun playing through content I've already played through, and I don't want to, so I stopped.
That's fair.
Does it have a good upgrade system?
I didn't get that far.
Oh shit! Okay.
How long did I played it for?
An hour.
Oh no. 23 minutes. Maybe I should play it for longer. I just wasn't in the mood for it in the moment. Because the twin stick shooter part was fine, but then there's all these like obstacle course elements where you have to like dodge and stuff, and they instantly kill you, and it kicks you back to the checkpoint where you do the fighting part again. And like, just kick me back to the start of the room. If you just kick me to the start of the room, and I can do it, but just having to do the thing that's not challenging is so boring right now to get to the thing that is challenging.
You know what they say? Don't judge a game by its first hour. They say that, right? People say that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's a good rule if they don't say it, I guess. But I don't think the game is bad. I think it's just I'm in a state right now where it's not what I want.
I totally get that.
Some developers should follow that rule actually, because they
honestly,
go with a rule of like don't judge my game in the first 10 hours. Like motherfucker, like 10 hours is a lot.
Also, a different rule that I think has very, very, very few exceptions. I think almost every game, the punishment for dying should simply be that you died. Like,
right.
Like, I don't know. That's a little unspecific, but I mean like losing experience levels or like dropping all your loot. Like, I feel like those aren't necessary a lot of the time. Like,
don't you like Souls games?
It's not always overly punishing,
right.
But like even just like not being able to do the thing you were trying to do is already a punishment to me.
Right. So
I don't need to feel worse about it.
So you want
more frustrated by it.
So you want them to Chained Echoes, that JRPG game. You get to if you die, you get to retry the battle straight away.
Great. That sounds awesome. Respect my time.
And you can literally escape from every battle except for like boss battles.
Oh,
that's
nice.
There's no like
Man.
random if it's gonna work. No, because because how it's done is it's one of those games where there's no random encounters. You get to see the monsters on the field, but there are some encounters you have to do, right? Because some you can sidestep. Those are just like your normal side ones. You can just sidestep them if you don't want to waste your time or whatever. But if you're super strong, you're like 2 seconds. But you get to run away from pretty much every battle. Boss battles you can't run away from, but you can run away from the most like on-field encounters. So even if the on-field encounter you can't like sidestep, you can run away from that. Basically, you can go in, see what the monsters are weak at, get them back fuck out, change any equipment or whatever, change some stuff if you want to, then go back in and try again. You can even just run away with like one person alive and everybody else dead, or you just retry the battle. So it's like, I don't know, it's just like really, I just really like, it's just really smart, like the way they handle everything.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Quality of life.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You don't get punished for, you basically, I don't feel like I'm punished. I'm just, it's up to me to figure out a puzzle kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me because one of the people I'm playing Valheim with now has not played it before, and we were talking about how good the systems are because they're kind of like all carrot and no stick. Like there's like this intricate like food system, and like you can't starve to death. So there's no penalty not for eating, but crafting better and better food is like a significant way in which your character gets stronger because they give you health buffs and stamina buffs and they last for longer and that kind of thing. So it really just incentivizes you to explore the system without punishing you directly for not doing it, which is really cool. And the last game I played, which I actually recorded myself playing, so I haven't played it more because I haven't had time to record more, but hopefully I'll play more because it's great and record more, is Control. I started playing Control, which is very good.
Good game.
I've heard good things about it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, I like the atmosphere is really good. I played for 3 hours before trying to use a fast travel point, which is when I learned that I had accrued a lot of skill points to spend, and like this whole time I could have been unlocking things, and I could have acquired like new guns, and like I was like, this. I'm sure they told me at some point, but it was not clear, I guess. But yeah, looking forward to playing more. Hopefully, I don't take too long and forget all the important controls. So in terms of things I watched, there were 2 3-hour films I watched, so I can't help but compare them. One of them was Avatar 2. The other one was RRR. And RRR was much more fun. I don't think
That's
it's
the
better,
Bollywood
but
movie, right?
That's the Bollywood movie.
I think it's Bollywood. I'm not actually. I'm not super sure right now.
I mean, it's definitely produced and filmed and all that stuff.
Because
in
Bollywood
India.
is North India and South India is like.
Oh, it's a specific thing.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
and you know
Okay.
how like, I don't know if you know, but like they hate each other over there. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe hate is kind of strong, but like they have history. I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Some definitely hate
but
it,
yeah,
okay.
the movie had been on my list for a long time, and then I loved like this one song from the movie. I listened to it over and over again, and then that song won a Golden Globe for Best Original Song in a Movie. Like it beat Rihanna and Taylor Swift. And like, okay, like I'm just gonna watch the movie tonight. If you've heard the song "Not To," it's that song. It's I don't know. Maybe
I'll
you
have to-
probably
it's
have
probably
it.
on the radio, and I just haven't
I
heard
mean,
it.
it's
but-
probably like there's no radio anymore. It probably, if you're not
What's
on
a
TikTok,
radio?
then you're not up to date on what's
That's
the
fair.
cool new music, which I'm not. I saw like some Facebook meme. It's like, this song is really cool. I'm like, oh, it's from RRR. I should watch it. And I didn't. And then I heard it won a Golden Globe like this week. Like, okay, I'm just gonna watch it. And it was, I mean, it's 3 hours long, which is a bit of a trek, but it's very fun. It's very funny. Avatar 2 is fun, not at all funny. Didn't need to be 3 hours long, in my opinion. It's weird because a lot of things happen, but it almost feels like the movie is like rushed in the sense that like why is this character feeling this way right now? It's like there's like a scene that we missed where like the conversation got cut, and like they're just doing this thing to move the plot forward because it has to move forward.
Like weird editing.
Interesting.
Right.
It's kind of weird editing, but the problem is like the cast is so big. There's like 8 or more main characters now because they have like 4 children. So you have like the 2 main characters, their 4 children. There's like a 5th child, the new tribe, the bad guy, and so it's like everyone, and like they're all almost equal, like in terms of how much screen time they get. And it's like I would have cut
Jeez.
like 3 to 4 of the children. Like we didn't need this many characters.
I honestly
it's
don't
good, it's
understand
fun.
the hype of the. I hated the first Avatar.
I didn't hate it.
I
didn't
never
care
watched
for
any
it.
of
Fucking
them.
hated it.
I never watched it again after seeing it in theaters, and I'm never gonna watch this one again in theaters. If I only saw this because of FOMO, like if I knew that nobody else in the world was going to see Avatar 2, I would not have seen it.
I sincerely do not understand the hype. I mean, is it amazing visually?
They're pretty.
Is
Yes,
it?
it's definitely very
okay.
good visually. One interesting thing it does is it does something kind of like Spider-Verse, where some of the elements in a scene are animated at a different frame rate than other elements,
Oh,
which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
because that one, like for Spider-Verse, I remember watching a video about it, and they said like is to show. I'm not sure if this was what the creators intended, but it was to show like
I
how
don't know the
Miles,
motivation.
how like Miles, like because he was like you said, Miles was like a slower frame rate, and then as he got better as Spider-Man, he got to a smoother frame rate.
Smoother.
Right, he like got better like the
Oh.
skill wise and stuff.
That's actually really.
It is right.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I actually never. I heard it was different, but I didn't realize the connection.
yeah.
It makes sense.
I'm not
though.
super sure if like I said, if it's the actual like creators' motivations, but yeah, I just like holy shit. Makes me love the movie even more. I already loved it so much, and it's just like I can't wait for Spider-Verse 2. Fuck.
Yeah.
I know. Same. So glad they're making another
Yeah.
one. In general.
Honestly, the first Spider-Verse is tied for my favorite Spider-Man movie / comic book movie of all time.
I agree. Yeah.
Probably true. I can't think of a.
As far as like
easy.
Spider-Man movie,
Yeah.
I don't think I could
Definitely
pick a
for
favorite comic book
Spider-Man.
movie.
That and
yeah,
Spider-Man
it's
2.
one of my top ones.
Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 is
Sure.
like my favorite.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, probably even my favorite comic book movies. 89 Batman is pretty up there. But yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I sincerely don't understand the hype. And also the first movie is very like isn't it about white people going like to take a bunch of resources from like non-white people?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the bad guys, but yes.
Yes, but still.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But I know
Well,
they're the
get
bad
this,
guys, but
in the
there's also a
second
white
one-
savior type of thing, right?
In the second one, the white savior guy has dreads, and
Oh,
there's a lot
cool.
of like
Yeah.
white people with
Nice.
dreads, and it's like this is only
Wait.
Cameron could maybe. I think he's pulling it off. I don't know.
Wait.
I don't know if it's
Dreads as the
as a blue person.
As
they
a
have
blue
dreads.
person,
But I
okay.
mean, they're clearly have. I don't know. Like one of the characters is clearly Sigourney Weaver, right? She just looks like Sigourney Weaver.
she just looks like blue Sigourney. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right.
With the dreads.
Right. Okay. James Cameron.
Which is also interesting. Sigourney Weaver is playing a 15-year-old teen in this movie.
What?
And I think she does a great job. It's so weird. It's so interesting.
Okay, so Sigourney Weaver. Wait.
So
Is she a
in
human
the first
being?
Movie, in the first movie, Sigourney Weaver was what's her name? Scientist. I can't remember her name, but she's a human scientist
Right.
who has an avatar body,
Right.
and something happens. I don't remember. Like she dies
Must
or
be a good
something.
movie.
And they they try to transfer her human brain into the avatar body to like save her life, kind of thing, and it doesn't work. And so her avatar body is basically in a coma. And so that's all we know at the end of Avatar 1.
Wait, when you
I
say
believe.
put it into the avatar body in a different way that they were previously
like
doing
a
it?
permanent way.
Because
normally,
previously they were like
nor-
kind of remote control-y kind of way, right?
they're like in a bed, yeah,
Right,
remote
right,
controlling it. Jake Sully the main character gets his avatar brain in his body permanently through like communing with a tree, some magic thing basically. And so they try to do something similar with Sigourney Weaver, and it doesn't work. And so at the start of Avatar 2, like the very start, this is not a spoiler, at the start they're like, hey, somehow, they literally use the word somehow, her avatar got pregnant and gave birth. So we don't know what happened,
Wait.
but we got this baby now who's also played by Sigourney Weaver.
Hold up. You're talking about a comatose
Yes.
gave
Who, as
birth.
far as we know, has not had sex. So this is a virginal birth as far as we know.
This is
Somehow.
So she's Jesus. So
Right.
Sigourney Weaver is Avatar Jesus, is what I'm saying. And I think what James Cameron is also saying.
okay.
Yeah. It's a
There's
great
a-
movie.
Is this
Guys,
what
can we
happens
stop
when
this?
like is this one of those like what's the word? The word that people love to use was like Hideo Kojima.
Circle jerk. Oh,
Not savant.
Wait,
Not
with what?
savant.
Say it again?
not a prodigy.
No.
Oh,
The person who has complete control over everything.
dictator.
No. Oh. Close. But like an artist dictator.
Director?
Artist dictator.
What?
Oh, is it artistic vision?
God
I
damn
don't
it.
know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Artur?
Auteur.
I don't know
yes,
what you're talking
that one.
about. Oh, okay. Is that
Artur,
what that
okay.
means? I didn't know if that's what that meant.
Yeah. Is this that?
I said it
is
was-
this like James Cameron not having people say no to him?
Possibly.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, and probably.
guys
in
hear-
fact.
You guys hear that he's re-releasing Titanic in theaters?
Oh.
I didn't hear that.
Is it like
I've
a
never
new
seen
edit?
Titanic.
Yeah.
Is it like a new
Yeah,
edit or
he
something?
is.
Or...
No, it's just being re-released. My
Great.
favorite. So I never saw Titanic either. I don't know why. I just never did.
I've seen clips on
Um,
TV. I got the gist of it.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, literally, like, no joke. My mother had the two videos, and when I was a kid, I was like, well, why don't we watch this? And she's like, you're too young for this. And I
Sure.
just, like, never, as I got older, thought, I should watch this, because by the time I was like, I haven't seen this before, everybody in my age group had seen it. Because my mom was pretty strict with me about stuff, and then wasn't. It's weird. The point is that I never ended up seeing Titanic. And my favorite part, though, so he's re-releasing it for theaters. My favorite part is a advertisement for it, which calls it, and I quote, a cult classic.
You can't call a new movie that.
It's not a cult classic.
It's
Titanic
neither of
is
those
nothing.
things.
What?
Oh my gosh.
He like wants to be.
Wasn't it a
He
box
wants to be
office
indie, but
smash?
isn't indie.
That's
Yes,
insane.
huge
That's
smash.
so crazy.
It's one of the highest grossing movies of all time or some shit.
I think it was
Yes.
it was like the longest running, highest grossing
Yeah.
movie for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for movies I watched. I watched all of Chainsaw Man, the anime, and that is
Oh.
very a very complicated anime to talk about.
Oh.
Because I almost stopped watching it at multiple points because there's just really stuff happening that I don't want to watch. But a lot of the concepts and the action are
what are
very
you talking
good
about?
and cool. Like
Chainsaw Man, the anime.
Yeah. What was the thing?
like an older character, like the main character just being super horny, and an older character kind of like raping him, sort of, but he's like into, I don't know, because he's underage and she's like a coworker and she's older and she's drunk, but she's in, like, it's just weird stuff, and like it's really long and drawn out, and like I don't want to watch like super tight close-ups of two like anime people kissing with like spit, like, you know, connecting. It's gross and weird, and I don't like it, and I don't want to watch it.
I didn't know it was that kind of anime.
It's
not meant to be. It's not meant to, I mean, I only know because I have friends who watch it. It's definitely was one of those animes where just like Attack on Titan, I went, and no thank you. No offense to it. It's just one of those animes where like, okay, I get it. The animation's really good. The fight sequences are really good. It deals with really dark themes. I will pass. I read the entire wiki about it, and I was like, all right, that's intense. I can see why this is popular. Just not what I want to spend my time on.
Because it's my friend's favorite manga of all time, and I don't know what his thoughts are on the anime. I think he's kind of in the same mind as me. I don't think he likes the anime too much, but I mean, it's not bad. It's just like I wouldn't recommend it because I think there's just too many things you gotta just like that I think are inexcusable. Like you just gotta look over them. You gotta get past them. Like the good stuff isn't good enough to outweigh the bad stuff, but the world building's cool. Like the actual character writing, I think, is pretty good. It has a lot of good things going for it. It's just
it's just
a lot of
really
bad
intense
stuff too. Yeah,
a lot of
the violence is also
intense
very
themes.
violent. It's kind of berserk level violence.
That's why I've been just kind of like, not my thing.
Yeah,
Totally respect
and
those who want to see it. But...
Yeah, I don't know. I should talk to my friend more. I get the sense that the anime doesn't truly capture like the tone of the manga, because like in the anime the main character is I don't know what the adjective here is, like he's like his like one example of a thing is like she's like, hey, if you kill this demon for me, I'll let you touch my breasts, and so that's like his motivational thing. So he's like, boom, it's like he like runs into combat, you know, haha, funny. Like it's actually kind of funny, whatever, it's fine. But like that kind of like, it makes the character seem very not deep, and there are hints in the anime that the character is very damaged and they need to go through a lot of emotional growth and healing, and those parts are very good, and I kind of get the sense that there's more of it in the manga, but maybe I should just read it.
You know what it makes me kind of think of? And listen, I am not saying that this anime was fantastic, but I know it's been kind of praised for trying to do those kinds of themes. Evangelion.
Sure,
It sounds like to me like it's trying to do an Evangelion kind of story, and maybe it just kind of misses the parts that what made Shinji, you know, the reason he needs to be the way he is.
That's actually a very good comparison I hadn't thought of, because even watching Evangelion, I also don't really care for most of the non-action sequences. And although compared to Chainsaw Man, I think that they're well written and they're not offensive, unlike Chainsaw Man. Like they're just kind of boring at worst in Evangelion.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
it gets pretty nuts in Evangelion on what the themes they're trying to get at.
If Evangelion was
but
Chainsaw Man, it would, because like in Evangelion, he's like Shinji's living with like his boss, that older woman, right? Like if this was Chainsaw Man, she would have sex with him, or try to.
Yeah. No,
and it's like, oh god, like ugh.
Yeah, I've heard that. In fact, actually, part of my first introduction to Chainsaw Man was someone basically highlighting how that character from Evangelion is like demonized, but not that similar character from Chainsaw Man. And I was like, oh, that's really weird.
So weird. I do think also Chainsaw Man, there's a character in it who is very intensely kind of intimidating in a very compelling way that I think is it's a big portion of why I will so I finished season 1. When season 2 eventually comes out, I will probably continue to watch it, mostly because I want to see more of what this character does and where it goes. This non-main character who we don't get enough of. So yeah, I watched that. I watched season 2 of White Lotus. I think maybe I already talked about that. And just yesterday, I watched the first episode of a show called Norseman, which I'm hooked on now. It's kind of like Our Flag Means Death, but for Vikings. It's like an irreverent Viking comedy, I guess. It's fun. It's on Netflix.
Interesting.
Fair enough. Good
Not to be confused with The Northman, which is the Viking movie that came out this past year. This is Norsemen.
Got it. Gosh. Man.
It's pretty much everything. Everything worth talking about. I also watched Buckaroo Banzai, but we won't need to talk about that because that's like a movie from the late 80s that's super weird.
Fair enough.
It's fun, but it doesn't make any sense.
Fun.
News time?
News time? It's not much, honestly. Seriously, that's not much.
It's the beginning of the year, so video game news is not. It's pretty low right now.
But we have that D&D one.
Yeah, so Dungeons and Dragons. So Hasbro Wizards of the Coast imploded. I'll try to explain my best ability.
But
so,
D&D is
as
under
you guys,
Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah, so Hasbro owns Wizard of the Coast. Right. Wizard of the Coast owns Dungeons and Dragons.
And also
I didn't
Magic.
know the Hasbro thing until this news story.
Yep, they've been known for
Wizard
Hasbro
of the Coast
for
also owns
some
Magic. Magic Gathering is also
correct.
under that line, yeah.
Yep, that's correct. So, long story short, you guys probably have at least some awareness that Dungeons & Dragons has tons of, like, third-party content. So you probably heard of Critical Role, for instance, who are they play D&D online and they get paid to do that. There are people who make what they call homebrew content. So they make their own kind of, like, world content that they can sell for people to use as part of their Dungeons & Dragons games. And the reason
so it's like
people
a supplement
can do that
to the official rules, kind of?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's
supplement
because D&D is so much about being like a rule set so you can build your own world,
right?
And that's what all the players do. But there are Wizards of the Coast sanctioned modules, and so people are also selling their own things they made as things other players can play, but not sanctioned by Wizards.
Exactly. And the reason they can do that is because of what's something called the OGL, I believe called Open Gaming License. And it used to be, so D&D had this open license, this OGL, that was very, is the reason really that you see all of this. It's pretty much the reason why D&D is like the epitome of tabletop RPGs, even though there's thousands out there, some that I would argue even better than D&D, but there's lots of them out there. But because D&D had this OGL, for some people have been able to make a living on making D&D content, such as homebrew, such as adding items, such as Critical Role, things
even
like that.
Even just making like pixel art assets for people to use in Roll20, like online collaborative playing stuff. Like that's a whole market.
The whole thing. And so basically a new edition of D&D it's been planned to come out called 1D&D. Basically, we already knew it was going to be more like a subscription service. So we were already prepared. But there were news about an updated OGL. So people were kind of hearing some murmurings, but we're kind of nervous. But we're like, okay, well, technically with how the OGL originally is, people who are already making content under the original OGL should be okay, so maybe this new one might be for those going forward. We'll see. Well, a leak came out, and it only came out for, so like certain people were given kind of this new OGL, and there already was controversy because it, like, the D&D tried to say it was a
work in progress kind
draft,
of thing. Right,
but
draft, yeah.
It was but they had already given it to people like that part of this to sign off on, and they only had like a week to agree to it. And essentially, I'm not going to get to full legalese because I don't quite understand it, but they implemented a royalty system, and part of the bullshit about that is it only really hits you when you make $750,000. The problem, and so it basically taxes 25% of every dollar above $750,000 you make. The problem is it's gross, not revenue, and and a lot of D&D content is very expensive to do. So because it's only gross, so for instance, Critical Role,
you would start losing money at that point.
Yeah, they just start losing money, exactly, because they have to still pay. Yeah, exactly. So that already was like not good. They were basically going to be clamping down on what virtual tabletops you could use, only Roll20, even though there's plenty of other options. And they basically were saying that like any content people made that was D&D inspired could basically be taken by D&D to be used in their own way, I believe. So you really couldn't own your own content if it was under D&D. And the main thing that set everybody off is it said the old OGL was revoked. So people who were under the old OGL now had to do a new contract with Wizards. And the other problem about this is I mentioned that $750 or whatever. Basically Wizards made it as part of their OGL new agreement that they could basically change within like 30 days, as long as they gave you 30 days notice whenever they felt like it. So they could even increase that tax, that royalties, basically, if they felt like it, or force you into a new contract with them. So it gave them way too much power, way too much control, and it was going to impact a lot of people. Just even in our things that we play, my wife made a homebrew that she has put in the D&D system. I'll get to that second, D&D Beyond. And so like that was at risk of basically being taken over by D&D for their own uses. She doesn't get to really own it anymore. Again, I'm being very broad about this, so the legalese you'll have to look into.
So this will affect content creators in terms of like video, Twitch, whatever, those kinds.
And could. I'm not sure. Right. Yeah, it could a little bit there. The main people it really impacts is anybody who makes like D&D content or homebrew. Yeah, exactly. That was the big thing. Anything that's got the D&D thing on it, now Wizards could potentially kind of take control over, which before was not happening, and get royalties off.
So there's no.
I don't think
you can't sidestep it by not calling it D&D content.
Say it again.
You can't sidestep the OGL by not calling it D&D content.
So one thing that's complicated I don't know the answer to is I'm not sure which parts, like D&D is a huge thing, and I don't know which parts of it are like they would say are copyrighted and which isn't. So that's kind of the hard part. I'm not going to say that people who are streaming are necessarily in trouble, but people at home, like who made their own content, could be a problem. So yeah, it's lots of issues. So this came out. People had a huge uproar, and we're already getting really mad. And I forgot to mention, D&D Beyond is an online system. You can subscribe to it. You can get the online books through it. You can make character sheets through it. We use it to make our character sheets and stuff like that. It's basically an online resource, and it has a subscription model. That's actually, even before all this happened, their subscription model was just like highway robbery. The amount you had to pay and barely got access to any books, it was a train wreck. But anyway, people still got it. My wife got it. We had friends that had it. That's fine. And you could get a lot of GMs, game masters, so people who run the games, they would basically get a subscription and they would be able to share with friends. So someone could have the books and as long as you were in that game master's like campaign, you had access to their books that they had under their subscription. That was part of the model. So, this is going to be important in a second. So people are already mad when news about this new OGL 1.1 came out. There was a huge uproar, and people were demanding answers and basically saying the main issue was revoking the old OGL because that was already not totally possibly legal anyway. So people were really on an uproar about that. So people were waiting for a response. And then there was basically a leak from a Wizards employer, a D&D employee, that basically came out and said, hey, so Wizards of the Coast higher-ups think you guys are acting a little too crazy. They don't really care. They're just hoping this will die down and that you guys will forget about it because they think D&D's too big to fail. They're not going to change anything. They're going to keep stuff up, but they recognize that people are mad and just hope that, they'll calm down and things will go back to normal. And the other thing it added in this leak from an anonymous employee was their main metric was D&D Beyond subscriptions. Ooh. That is the only thing they really care. Yeah, it's the only thing they really cared about.
It's all about live service these days.
Yep. So once that news came out, boom, everyone is deleting their subs. Big names who people like Ginny D, who literally her entire platform content creation job is D&D, like cosplay, gaming tips, YouTube videos, unsubscribed. Plenty of other people have just unsubscribed. Everyone that I know is unsubscribed. And it's happening in droves. And meanwhile, I don't know if you're familiar with Pathfinder, but long story short,
that was the supplemental news I had.
Yeah. So yeah, Pathfinder was like a breakaway a long time ago from D&D. It looks a lot like D&D, but they broke away way back
But
in
it's
like the early
its own
2000s.
trademark thing, right?
It is now. It's completely its own thing now. But yeah, now it came out with its own open-end agreement. And so now everybody's and yeah, so it's just gotten really, really bad. It's completely imploded. Once again, we heard something about there was another anonymous leak, I think, just today about like, the higher ups are seeing the lack of subs now, and they're getting a little bit worried, but they're really just hoping this will blow over. They basically finally, for a whole week, they hadn't released a statement. This was all anonymous leaks we were getting through this. Finally, there was an official statement that was like super gaslighty and like, listen, we know we did this, we hear you, but also we're still going to do this. It's going to be fine. You win, we win. It's great. And that got people really pissed today. The last thing I have heard, and we're going to have to wait till next week, one of a big person in the D&D scene, he's called D&D Shorts. He's a YouTuber, basically. He came out and tagged Jeremy E. Crawford, who's like the main D&D guy. He's a cool guy. No, not Hasbro. He is Hasbro, but like D&D. So like Hasbro Wizards him. Yeah, I don't even know if he's Wizard of the Coast, but he's over D&D. I think he's like the lead executive or whatever of Dungeons and Dragons. Overall, a cool guy. But he got some guy tagged and went, "Hey, I just found some really like major news from some reputable sources. I will break the news, but I want to talk to you first. Otherwise, I will just break this." And people are like, "What's going on?" He's like, and the guy responded with, "I can't reveal yet. I need to get some lawyers on here, but this is bigger than the OGL. So there's definitely something bad happening over there. We don't know yet. Some scandal that's also going to come out. Who knows?" But yeah, so it's been nuts, and I basically am just waiting to be told I'm not going to be playing D&D ever again online. Maybe like privately, we have the books and stuff, but it's been a whirlwind.
So like 2 years ago or something, the CEO, Hasbro CEO, passed away, and I'm not going to remember his name. Fuck all the CEO executives, I don't care. But he died.
Bill Hasbro.
Yes. Bill Hasbro died, and
I love it.
he was like he actually did well for Hasbro. Like he did like Transformers and all that was thriving under him and shit. And then the new Hasbro CEO that was that took over is the former Wizards of the Coast guy, former top guy at Wizards of the Coast, and he probably got it because under him, during the pandemic, Wizards of the Coast, especially Magic, made a fuck ton of money.
Oh yeah, and D&D
yeah,
too.
So I guess this is kind of the progression. I don't think it's just Wizards of the Coast, and I think it's the new Hasbro CEO as well, just trying to monetize as much as he can.
Yep.
Because he is a former Wizards of the Coast guy. And honestly, Hasbro's been going... toys have been going up in prices, and you're getting the same stuff or sometimes even less, like less accessories in the box, less like alternate hands and shit. Like shit is going up. Transformers toys are going up.
Like they're doing what's like the action figure equivalent of a palette swap sometimes.
Yeah,
I believe it.
That one I kind of get it. Like especially for Transformers, because there's so much engineering to go into it.
Sure, I don't have a complaint with them offering like different versions of the same character with different colors or something like that.
Yeah.
But what I don't want is like, oh yeah, like specifically the one example that really makes me so angry is the Black Chrysanthemum character, the big Wookiee from Book of Boba Fett. He's a comic book character, and they released an action figure for him, and they pretty much literally clearly just took a Chewbacca action figure and painted it black because all Wookiees look the same to them, and they don't, and it's just like this lazy action figure.
That's so sad.
I'm pretty upset by it.
I mean, there has been. They have said that D&D accounts for like 40% of Hasbro's.
Wizards of the Coast in 2020
Wizards?
was 20%. I'm not sure what's 2022. 2020, I think, is 20%.
I mean, I think I saw some was like $1.3 billion. Like, it's
considering what they sell.
I would not have thought I guess I haven't thought about it in a long time, but I'm actually surprised Magic isn't bigger than D&D. But I guess now, like, since in a post-Stranger Things world with D&D and a post-COVID world when D&D's really, really big, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah,
it could
D&D
be
really shot off the last few
it could
years.
be Wizards. The one that I saw was just Wizards of the Coast as a whole, and they own,
Okay.
But I'm not sure if it's. I wouldn't be surprised if Magic is more because, Jesus fucking Christ, it's just cards. Like it's so cheap to make.
Cardboard crack.
It's just cards, and the amount that they sell it for.
Resale, right.
And also, like, wasn't there some Magic the Gathering thing where they tried to sell some $1,000 boost, some kind of $1,000 box or something?
I just heard about this recently. Yeah.
Stuff.
Yep. It's a huge issue. I haven't been in the Magic scene in a while. I only heard about that recently because a lot of people were basically saying, hey, Magic, there's a lot of shit happening in the Magic scene, and it's probably going to predict issues in D&D. It's just that I think they didn't realize, because D&D really was given power and propped up by fans in that OGL. Like, that was the reason it got so big. I mean, Critical Role put it on the map, quite frankly. I've been playing D&D since I was 10. Yeah, I've been playing D&D since I was 10 years old, for 20 years, and it has gotten so big, I was in the last 5 to 6. And that's all really because of the OGL. Before that, the earlier editions, like, people knew about it, but it was not the same as 5th edition. That's like the edition currently right now. Not the same as now.
Mean, yeah, back then it was still like a nerd thing. Like, you'd kind of get like made fun of for playing D&D.
I didn't tell people I played D&D till I was probably in high school, because even back when I was still playing it, it was past the Satanic Panic, but literally, like, my family would not talk about it when we were at church, and I would not talk about it with my friends at school. It wasn't until I was in high school where a lot of that died down, and I had friends. I finally found nerdy friends who are like, "Wait, what is it? I heard it's like the most nerdy thing ever," and so they were super interested.
I wasn't allowed to play pre-high school because of Satanic Panic.
Yeah, it was, for whatever reason, like, my mom, very Christian. I only say conservative, but she's really not conservative by American standards anymore, because she's not insane.
Conservative, just like socially conservative.
Kind of, like, not even really, to be honest with you. Like, she's very like, hey, racism's bad, what the hell, kind of thing. Like, not really. We just don't talk about abortion rights. But anyway, the point is, though, is like, she played it with us as growing up. My brother found the box, thought it was really cool. We were big Harry Potter fans back then, all into fantasy, and so it was like, yeah, what's this? That sounds fun. Play pretend, roll some dice, whatever. It wasn't until like later we heard about, like, oh, this is a thing that people freaked out about in the 80s. This was like early 2000s. And so, yeah, but we just didn't talk about it. And then, that died down. People were kind of interested. And then, like I said, things like Critical Role and other things just like finally pulled it into this public consciousness. And so now everybody wants to give it a try, which is great. But that's why this whole thing is so stupid. We all know that big companies don't give a fuck about us. But at least they pretend, or at least are willing to scramble and do something when there's enough pushback. Like, listen, I know Disney doesn't care about me, but at the very least, if there was a big pushback like this, they would have had a PR statement, they would have tried to at least do something to kind of acquiesce, and then they would have just kept going. Not this. Like, they genuinely don't care. They don't even want to pretend to care. They're literally saying, we're going to blow this over. We're not going to say anything. They'll forget about it, and it's going to go back to normal. And it's making people mad, obviously. And man, hell hath no fury like a D&D player scorned, let me tell you.
And
my favorite...
Are you switching to Pathfinder? Or are you playing Pathfinder?
I was just going to say... We got the book. I have never played it myself. I know of it. I have lots of friends who've played it. We're probably not like switching right away. I'm in a lot of D&D games. And some of them, a bunch of them are streamed, and we're not probably going to be switching anytime soon. But once those games end, very likely the GMs are going to try to look into a new system. Is basically the idea. So I'm probably still going to be playing D&D for a while.
I would do the same thing, but the cool thing is, it is possible to switch systems mid-game, technically. Like, you
It
just
is.
kind of have
It
to
is.
find, like, these, like the mapping of, like, stats to stats. But for the most part,
Yes,
it's doable.
I think it's really just our GMs are kind of
Right.
nervous
I
because
mean, I
it's a
wouldn't
big...
do it either. It's a hassle.
Yeah, yeah. It's really
also,
just the
okay. So
GMs
like
are-
if Wizards of the Coast D&D whatever comes back and say, oh, it was just a prank, whatever. I still think people should switch to Pathfinder because fuck Hasbro.
I mean, so yeah. Well, here's the thing: is a lot of people have already said, even if they, say, "Hey, just kidding," some of your big users would probably go back because that was their livelihood, and I wouldn't blame them.
they want to get
But like your smaller base is basically you've lost trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the big thing. The trust has been destroyed at this point, and so for a lot of people, they're just never gonna want to do stuff for you ever again. And that's kind of the big thing here. One of my favorite lines about this whole thing is, for whatever reason, Wizards of the Coast did not consider that a group of people who pore over thick rule books for tiny little consistencies and inconsistencies didn't think they would look over the legalese of these documents. So
Okay, so how many years? So a bunch of people I think is gonna go over to Pathfinder, and Pathfinder is gonna like start to get bigger. How many years do you think
Yeah.
will take Pathfinder to
think-
become this greedy?
Do you think Pathfinder's
know,
the number
right?
one choice? I agree it probably is, but I feel like
At
there's going to
least
be
as
some
far-
more runners in the race.
Well, so Kobold Press, I don't know much about
did
them, but
see
they're
them.
another like
I don't know what it
D&D creator. They do content
Kobold
of some
Press?
kind. I think they do newsletters.
Kobold.
Press.
Kobold.
Like your little
Kobold.
dragon goblin kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought Kobold the booksellers.
They have announced that they're going to make their own new system called Black Flag. So we'll see. No idea. The reason this can happen is because, to be blunt about it, Dungeons and Dragons stole from Tolkien. Obviously it's their own thing, but like obviously it's their own thing by now. But like the terms and stuff like that, the terms
orcs,
for well, it's
right?
not races but species. Yeah, orcs, elves, dwarves, all that
Is
kind of
stole the
stuff.
right
a lot
word?
of that. I don't know if stolen
Because
is,
like
but it's
everything
definitely
is from
been.
Tolkien in a way, right? Pretty much.
Well,
so
I
much of
mean-
fantasy is
Well, so JRPGs like Final Fantasy stole from D&D, but then made their own thing. So take that as you will. Stole,
the
I guess you
like
could.
the tropes seem to all kind of come from Tolkien. Like the basic
Yes.
fantasy races, like the fact that you have this list of basic races seems to stem
Yes.
from Tolkien.
Exactly. This idea of races, this idea of like, I mean, the classes is more of a D&D thing. And D&D isn't the first tabletop RPG ever, but it's the one that got big, essentially. And
the
it's been the
Satanic
big one
Panic
for
probably helped
fantasy.
with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So yeah, like that's what I mean though, is a lot of these places can get, are able to make D&D-esque things because D&D kind of has its own like fantasy trope world. It's the idea of like, hey, let's all go to the tavern and hang out and find an adventure. We're an adventuring group and we're gonna find some things to do to make some gold. Like that's very Dungeons and Dragons kind of aesthetic. And people, that's not copyrighted. So people are going to be able to take it and run. And a lot of their ideas come from other cultures and stuff like that. They can't copyright a lot of that stuff. I don't know what stuff they've tried to copyright, but they really can't easily. So a lot of these other companies like Paizo with Pathfinder, they can crop up. And people will go to it.
Honestly, like a lot of my toys are from Hasbro. So like Transformers, I've started collecting some GI Joes. The GI Joes are really good. Out of all their lines that I have, the GI Joes are like really value for money. You get a figure, you get a bunch of accessories, and the prices are still pretty decent depending on which one you buy. So like, but I love it when like these big companies get like this kind of backlash. I'm just I'm so
I mean,
happy
listen,
with
I
this.
love D&D. I hate that this is happening.
I hate that it's
but
happening
yeah,
to
also
the
fuck
fans,
them.
but yeah, fuck them. So
Yeah. But also fuck
Yeah.
them. Like, oh yeah, for sure.
Like-
no, I get it. Like they still got stuff.
Like during the pandemic, like the 2 years or whatever, like they increased the prices of Transformers like 2 to 3 times.
Yikes.
It's insane because they saw how much money they were making and how much money they were leaving on the table, So it's just like
yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I
Because
don't
the
really.
aftermarket for these things is nuts.
I don't remember. Yeah, really depends on like especially those fucking like exclusives, like your Walmart exclusives and shit. Oh my god. $20 figure can go up to $100 on the aftermarket,
Like,
just because
I definitely buy more than I should, because I feel like if I don't buy it now and I want it later,
Exactly.
it's going to cost me like 5 times as much.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people who wants to get into toy collecting, pre-order the fucking shit. Just get it now. Don't like try not to wait. It depends on where you are. You know, like
Yeah.
Malaysia, we
The
don't
better
really have
solution
clearance and
is
stuff.
I should not want it. I should just not acquire the thing.
Y'all should save your money. But
That
I
doesn't
get
seem
it.
to be an option
Yeah.
for some reason for me.
Just gotta complete a collection, man. You just gotta get that Black Chrysanthemum Chewbacca guy.
I mean,
I'm so tempted
listen,
by it, right? Like, do I like? So they just put up for pre-order a new so from the same comic, Black Chrysanthemum's from a comic called Dr. Aphra, and so I have the 2 droids from Dr. Aphra. I don't have Dr. Aphra because she's like $100 on eBay,
Oh,
and they
jeez.
just re-released her, so I bought her for like $30. I pre-ordered her, but like if they re-released her, like, are they going to do a new Black Chrysanthemum? Like, because technically the Black Chrysanthemum figure they launched is comic book style. So they could do a Book of Boba Fett style one, but I'm not going to buy it. I got to be strong. I'll be strong on this one. It looks so bad. Like, I compromise a lot. I'm not going to compromise for that. It's so bad.
So yeah.
Don't do it. Listen, the D&D price gouging was ridiculous. It's like $60 for a fucking book, and then if you want to get the PDF version, you know, you have to pay again like $40.
I
for
think
a
Games Workshop's
PDF.
is worse.
Oh, it
it's-
is. It
it's-
is. But
all this tabletop stuff is very expensive.
They're really going all
well,
in with
D&D
this stuff
is
this
a
year.
lot of it isn't.
Movies
Yeah,
coming out.
D&D is expensive.
The whole
I
stupid
know,
shit.
that's-
There's
so
also
you-
they just
yes.
released. It was up for pre-order for a couple months, but it's starting to come out the action figures for the old D&D cartoon. I'm not sure if you all know about
Oh,
from
wow.
the
I know
80s.
that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And I've been watching a couple of
Yeah,
videos
that's
like
really fun.
reviewing them. They're not great. Like they don't even have
Oh,
like
no, they're
The
dumb.
action figures or the show?
the action figures. Like
Oh no.
Oh,
thanks.
for like
oh,
$25,
jeez.
you
Okay.
don't get much, and the articulation like don't even have like basic articulation on some. Like there's no tie swivel or something. Like it's just like what the fuck? It's
Jeez.
$25 for one. The
Yeah,
value is seriously
yikes.
not there. But it seems like they're really going in
yeah.
D&D this year, like all in.
Yeah, I mean, it was the one D&D, which was like the new edition essentially, was supposed to come out. This was a big thing. This was all what this was leading up to, and so now it's just dead in the water. That's why people are, you were asking like, do we need to boycott the movie? And I'm like, well, and that's what I mean. That letter was saying that they really care about the subscription. So it's like, I mean, I guess if you're trying to like,
I'm sure the movie.
completely
I'm sure the
avoid D&D.
movie is part of their metrics too, though.
I mean, I'm not advocating we boycott the movie, but if people did, I think it would send a message as well. It'd be
Yeah,
part of the
I
message
know.
that got sent.
Movies are expensive to make.
I'm gonna wait and see.
Yeah.
I know. I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I still want to see it, but maybe I'll just wait till I can stream it or something like
I
that.
was
But
planning
either
on waiting
way,
until streaming already, so I'm not going to change that.
yeah, we would just go to the theater, but we'll see. I mean, when's that movie coming
No
out?
idea.
If a friend
Remember.
asks me to go with him to see it in theaters, I will still say yes, probably.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, again, I don't think they're really ever going to recover very well from this. Like I said,
never
some,
gonna recover.
the big names may come back if they change some things around, but they've really, even I mentioned Critical Role, Critical Role had to put a pretty bland message out, because I think they're under NDA, so their hands are really
Are
tied.
they like an official
but-
partner type of thing? Like they have an official agreement?
Kind of.
With?
They basically, like the guy Matt Mercer, his homebrew is now official D&D source
Oh,
books.
Right, you
Wow.
can buy it on Roll20. Or D&D
Yep.
Beyond, I mean.
Yep, D&D Beyond. Yep, because one of my games takes place in the Critical Role world, essentially.
Is Critical
So-
Role the one that has the Netflix show? The Arcana, whatever? Is that something else?
No, no. So Arcana's from League of Legends, but it does have a show, Vox Machina,
That's
from
what I'm
Amazon.
thinking. That's
Vox
Critical Role?
Machina is also. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, damn! Vox Machina's second season's coming out soon. Well, whatever. I like it too much. I can't not watch it. But that is, I didn't even think about that. But Vox Machina is coming out the second season's coming out really soon. If you need like an idea of D&D aesthetics, watch Vox Machina. But some of the humor might go over your head if you're not familiar with D&D.
That's actually an interesting point. Like D&D, and I think fantasy in general has been really going on a not steampunk, but like high fantasy like trajectory. Like 20 years ago, you know, is very medieval level, and now you have a lot more like airships and like magic
it's
guns
very
and that kind of
steampunky.
stuff.
Yeah, I like it because
I like it.
I don't want to. First of all, I like steampunk aesthetic. Like I do.
Sure.
But also like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to think about the fact that there's no light source and there's no bathrooms.
No bathrooms is the big one.
Yeah, like obviously no one talks about it, but still, I don't want to think about that.
I just poop over a hole into a different plane.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Shar, I don't know if you're familiar with these, but in the United States, we have Renaissance festivals. They're pretty,
you go to quite a few of them, right? Have you heard?
I go to them, and like people, you know, I sometimes my favorite thing is people go like, why do people like love the medieval times so much? Like blah blah blah. I'm like, it's not medieval times. I want to dress up as a wizard. Cannot be weird.
Wait, are you
Like,
are you
for
allowed
us,
to dress up as a wizard? I thought it's supposed to be realistic.
Renaissance?
If you're
hell
employed
no.
by the Ren Fair, there are usually standards. But as an attendee, you can dress however you want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
You will get made fun of, but you will get made fun of no matter what you are wearing.
Right.
Right, exactly. That's the point. Yeah, so each festival does have their own standards. Usually each festival has like a sort of time period or clothing aesthetic that they do adhere pretty strongly to.
Like
there was
Weekend or Mermaid Weekend or whatever.
Exactly. Like there was a festival we went to where actually the store they had some like big things on to the point that certain shops couldn't sell certain types of corsets, which I thought was interesting.
Wow.
So it depends on the type of it depends on the type of festival. Ours in Michigan's very open, and you know, it's obvious the actors basically there are set costumes that the actors have to wear that get passed down, you know, for people who join in basically. So like the queen has a certain look, her princesses have a certain look and stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, you dress whatever, and we put on clothes together that, you know, or like, hey, we're D&D characters, isn't this fun, you know?
I get it.
That's all. It's just an aesthetic thing. It's not I don't care about medieval times. They sound horrible.
Yeah. Just shit
The
a hole in the
Victorian
ground.
era, honestly. Right, exactly. You know, Victorian era also sounds awful, but steampunk sounds cool, so we're gonna just pretend that we're doing that. You know.
Honestly, I enjoyed the
So,
trailer
it's
for the movie.
Yeah,
It looks fun.
it's a really good. Yeah, it looks really fun. They did the stuff that we were looking for. The main character, Chris Pine, is a bard. That's the number one.
Chris Pine. One of the Chris's is in it.
Chris
I can't
Pine.
remember which one.
Yep, one of the
It's the
good ones,
Pine.
thankfully. Chris
Which one
Pine.
are the bad
Yep,
ones?
Chris Pine. The only one
Pratt?
that people say is bad, and I don't hate him. Pratt,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. I don't hate him, but I get why I probably should. It's a hard. It's one of those things where I'm just like, he's probably just changed, and that sucks. But I like his old
I'm
stuff.
also kind of
so I'm
sick
not
of
gonna
him.
I
Yeah.
get that. He did like go everywhere. And he got really big, unfortunately, in the voice community, which is why he's Mario. But that's a different conversation for another day. But yeah, so D&D is imploding. We'll see what happens from here. I hope they roll things back just for the sake of like third-party people and people who've made their lives on this. But the trust is broke.
Yeah.
Snap.
But I guess also good that maybe Pathfinder will get more of an audience, and it's always good to have competition.
I think also, yeah, it's good to have more competition. Hopefully there's tons of tabletop games out there for like anything you can think of, and
it's
they're
more
very
diversity
fun.
of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
From
Well,
a bunch
I
of
would
comments I've been
love-
reading, Pathfinder's top people is from D&D.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, I'm not
very
A family business.
It's a very robust
Right,
system.
robust.
I think I'll be curious to see if more people go to it, because I find it kind of unwieldy. There's a lot of rules in it for how
It's
to
a little
resolve
crunchy.
things.
It's a little
Yeah.
crunchy, as we
Crunchy's
call
the
it.
adjective,
That's
hip
the only
adjective.
thing I'm worried about. Yeah, I think like here's the problem is a lot of people enter D&D that probably would have preferred a simpler system.
Sure.
Or
I think
a
that's
more
why 5 was such a big hit as well. And then another factor.
Yes. Exactly, because it did, even though it's still mostly a battle system, like, people liked it enough, were willing to, like, one of the arguments I get all people all the time, like, I'm not in it anymore, but there was a D&D game I was in that, like, we literally were in a battle. We were never in a battle. We were in a battle, like, maybe, like, once every 20 sessions, maybe.
Whoa.
The rest of it was just the role play, which is fine. I like role play. But D&D is not good as a pure role play system. It has very few things you can do. Just as, like, all it is just talking. There's no dice rolling. There's no abilities and stuff like that. It's not meant for that. And that's the thing, is, like, Pathfinder takes that a little bit further. It's like even more crunchy, even more rules heavy, even more on the battle system. And so one thing I really hope is people who enter D&D because they wanted a roleplay system find an actual roleplay system, because they're out there. They're totally out there. It's just not D&D, and they're even simpler. But people are stubborn. I'm very used to new systems. I haven't played like a billion of them, but like we played D&D, but we also did other systems. So for me, I'm fine with learning a new system, but
it's a bit like fan fiction. There's a lot of systems out there, and a lot of them are bad, but a lot of them are also good.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta find, and honestly, like some of them are so small and short. It's kind of like, let's just try this for a weekend and see if we like it. And usually they're pretty like specific too. You know, part of the reason I think people like D&D is people like to use it for lots of different things, even though I would argue it's not really good at lots of different things. But plenty of other systems really fit a lot of niches. World of Darkness is a personal favorite of mine. But
I've heard good things. I haven't tried that one.
I like it a lot. But yeah, that's my D&D thing.
So yeah, I don't have anything else like this.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring up your Justin Roiland thing? What did he do?
I mean, it's news we
Justin
talked about.
Roiland. Yeah,
Okay,
I do know about this.
What did he do?
Justin
Yeah.
Roiland is facing felony domestic violence charges over an alleged incident that occurred in January of 2020.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's allegedly a people beater.
Yep. There's also been some outcries from people who've worked under him of not as well. So that's been starting to come out.
I know Dan Harmon, his co-creator on Rick and Morty. I don't know. He's not canceled, but I know like one year he was in San Francisco for SF Sketchfest doing some panel on something, and he could not sit in his stool because he was so drunk. So he also has some
issues.
I think he's working. I think he's working on self-improvement. I don't think people should hate Dan Harmon, but it's just interesting that those two people would work together.
Yeah. Yep. I had read about that too.
I don't know if this is a news story, but the other thing I had that I thought we might talk about is the new Scooby-Doo show, Velma, came out. And it has an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Holy shit.
Okay. I can talk about this a little bit. I haven't seen it. I can talk about it a little bit, though. Well, here's the problem, guys. The creator, Mindy
Kaling.
She is a J.K. Rowling apologist. So.
Oh, what? I didn't know that. What?
I didn't know this.
What the fuck?
Any slight sympathy I had is gone.
What?
Yep. So that's the that's one of the
Okay,
problems.
now this is a good story. This is a good news story. That's in hindsight.
Yeah.
Jeez,
the other thing.
Louise.
Yeah.
Wait, is
the
it
other part of
performing that because of
I thought
that?
she was cool.
I don't think it's just because of that. A lot of people also, I didn't watch the show myself, but I've heard a lot about it because Daphne and Velma kiss. They become a couple. So that's one of the reasons people are like, what?
This
is not the first time that Velma has shown to be lesbian, but it's the first time she's been with Daphne.
Is this show a prequel to the events of Scooby-Doo? Or is it just kind of a separate thing?
I don't know. I have heard it's meant to be like they're in high school and how they learn to get together.
Because they don't have the dog yet.
In the show.
Right, they have not found or acquired a dog yet.
So, and like Freddy is also like from what I understood, like a total dude bro asshole.
I've heard Freddy's kind of despicable and not enjoyable.
Yes, that's what I heard. And I guess from what I understand, Shaggy is just a pot smoker. From everyone I've heard has basically said like it's kind of cringy and it's basically like, how do I put this? It like kind of misses the charming point of these four people coming together.
Sure. And
just seems to be instead just want to have like, and listen, I usually defend a lot of like, color swapping when it comes to like people
Sure.
of color, or even like when they call it tokenism. I'm usually like the one to defend like, hey, not necessarily tokenism. Sometimes we just need it. But this is probably the first time I will be like, okay, so they made Velma a person of color who's queer who gets with Daphne, and it's like, okay.
How
So
many
there's
things
just,
do you change before you should just go with your own IP?
yeah, just make your own show. Exactly. So that's what I've heard is people kind of go like, yeah, so, this ship that all the fandom has joked about for years, like, came, but also, like I said, Mindy's, J.K. Rowling apologist, but also, like, it just is cringy and, like, has no heart of the original Scooby-Doo gang. And I'm not some, like, Scooby-Doo purist, but, like, there's just some certain things that, are charming about the characters, and apparently this show just kind of decimates it. So
it was funny in some Reddit thread, people were like, "Oh, you should watch Venture Bros instead." Like, yes, watch Venture Bros.
Oh god, I miss Adventure Bros. I miss Venture Bros and Futurama, man.
Futurama's coming back, right? It's a new season they're working on. I remember
I
remember
sure.
doing like some news story where like Futurama's coming back, but like John DiMaggio is not involved. And then, like, then he was back
involved. That was
involved
a while ago.
Yeah,
I guess I haven't heard anything more about that.
Right,
Yeah,
I haven't
that
heard any more,
was
but it's coming.
that was a
eventually.
weird. Yeah, that's a weird thing. But yeah, no, for sure, I agree. But yeah, so that's why I am not watching Velma. That being said, I do know they kiss. Literally, there's a Twitter account I follow just called Things Sapphics Like, and it just helps me introduce to lesbian romances and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should watch this show. Like Nun Warriors, I need to watch on Netflix. Anyway, but literally they showed the gif of Velma and Daphne kissing, and literally that they said, we got what we wanted, but at what cost? So
I never shipped
funny.
them.
Again, literally, to be completely honest with you, I like Velma being queer was always, I think, kind of a thing people thought, and
Absolutely.
she is. She feels very queer. But the idea of shipping them, I swear to God, just came across because of a photoshopped scene from a show that has been circled around as like proof, and it was just a Photoshop. Literally, you might have seen it around. It's a Photoshop that looks like they switched their clothes, but they didn't. But it's not canon at all. It's just people just did a Photoshop of it. But it has circled around and has made people go, oh, maybe they are together, that kind of thing. And then the shipping starts and then goes from there. But yeah, like part of the charm is how Freddy is like a genuine goody two-shoes leader of the group. And Daphne's a little bit of a, she obviously they've tried to make her more intelligent in the modern shows, which I appreciate. But still, like, I don't know, they're meant to be. They're kind of a power couple, and that's okay. I don't know. The whole thing is silly.
Futurama on Hulu revival.
Hulu. Okay, that's
Eventually.
what it is.
They announced it in 2022. They ordered a 20-episode thing and set to premiere in 2023.
All right, so it'll be coming.
And John DiMaggio is back as Bender.
Yeah. I remember when that whole thing came across, and I remember even I think we talked about it, we were like, was this like a stunt? Because this is weird. The whole situation was so strange. Whatever.
Pretty long episode today. God damn.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We'll just,
We had-
there
we
was
had-
a
we
lot of
skipped him.
Yeah, we
catch up.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good place to
Do the thing, or
yeah. Do the thing.
all right. This is Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. I'm basically on Twitter till the ship burns down at this point. I don't know where I'm going after that.
What's it called? The new one? Everybody's moving to
well,
Mastodon?
Mastodon.
There's Mastodon. I haven't looked into it yet. It looks a little confusing. Hivemind was one, but I think it broke, so probably not going to go on that one. I'm not sure yet. I'm just kind of watching the violence at this point. So, also a lot of D&D creators were on Twitter, so that on top of everything else is really sucked. But yeah, I'm on
communities have a
Twitter.
lot of inertia.
Yes, they do. But yeah, that's me.
And I'm Foehamner. Hopefully I play and record more Control and put it up. I'm not going to put it up until I finish the game. That way I don't stop a thing halfway through on my YouTube channel again. So maybe like in half a year from now, I'll start releasing Control, but I'm on YouTube.
And I'm Pupunoob, Pew Pew, NOB. I'm mostly on Instagram these days. Just
Well,
Nice.
got
Yeah,
some
I need
cool
to get- I
toy
need to-
pictures.
yeah, just toy pictures. Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly. No more cat pictures. He's like no longer in my life.
Right.
He's fine. though.
He's not dead. He's with another guy. Owner.
Yeah, he's okay, guys. Just with his owner,
Yeah, with
right?
a new owner. No, different owner. Yeah.
Different owner.
Much better for him. Like he's so fucking spoiled.
Yeah.
She sends me pictures.
Yeah.
Fucking spoiled.
Aw, that's cute.
Yeah, she got him like a Christmas cloak. It's really cute. I'll send y'all pictures later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, adorable.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's doing well.
That's pretty much. I'm on Twitter, I guess. I don't really use Twitter so much these days. Yeah. Haven't got my check mark yet. Haven't bought a check mark.
Yeah, I know. Haven't bought my $8 yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been episode 201 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.